to discuss the sweeping gains made by anti-EU parties in the European elections. Here, UKIP leader Nigel Farage has named Aylesbury among their general election targets and has been recalling the helicopter crash when he was standing in the Buckingham constituency.
It's just over 4 years ago that I crawled out of the wreckage of that aeroplane, wondering whether I had much time left to live. And here I am today, leading a party that has won a national election. So if any of you think you've seen the high watermark of UKIP, you ain't seen nothing yet. Thank you.
Junior doctors are to return to Bedford Hospital's paediatric unit from August following a successful inspection. Trainees were withdrawn last July after concerns were raised about a lack of supervision by senior staff. The hospital say the conditional arrangements will be reviewed at regular intervals. Police are continuing to hunt a prisoner who walked out of an open jail in Buckinghamshire on Sunday evening. 36-year-old Wayne McLeod absconded from Spring Hill Prison in Grendon Underwood sometime between 5:15 and 8:15. Thames Valley Police believe he may be in the Reading area. A retirement home in Bedford has come up with a fresh way of helping residents with dementia, backed by government funding of £140,000. Communal areas at Dame Alice Court have been transformed into themed areas, and the hairdressers has a 1950s look to help residents remind them of their past. Vivian Cornelius is the manager.
These improvements will hopefully have areas that they will bring back their memory, and it's also about isolation, that people don't feel lost. So having all these themed areas and these different rooms with different activities going on will hopefully improve that.
In sport, Southampton boss Maurizio Pochettino is in advanced talks with Tottenham to become their new manager, and Andy Murray starts his French Open campaign today against Andrei Golubev of Kazakhstan. The weather, cloudy with showers or longer spells of rain, which will be heavy at times, a maximum temperature 15 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
I think it's a great place to live, personally. It's got a lot of things for people growing up.
And all this week, we're featuring Dunstable.
Best part of Dunstable, Priory Church. It's just full of history and I love it.
Dunstable Downs, which attracted us to come here.
It's all about where you live.
It's a lovely town. It's got a great history.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks. BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's no more Fanny.
Well, we're back in the box where we started. If you missed yesterday's shows, I think all of you did, because no one called in. But when I say miss, you didn't actually miss anything. What you did? What?
Oh, I don't know about that. Well, I was pretty good.
What? It was even by your standards, Catherine, it was very, very poor.
Very poor, but I do think that the listeners have some responsibility for that.
Oh, they have complete responsibility. Yes, definitely.
Did you give out the number?
Yep. We said call me now as well.
Oh, did you?
But they never.
Well, we gave up. Well, I think some of those topics were gold. Yeah. I think we should put them out again.
No, I never want to speak of them again.
What's your favourite foreign act?
Yep.
And which celebrity would you like to adopt as a baby? I went for Stevie Wonder.
Yeah,
Money Spinner.
I wanted Gene Wilder, but then you put me off him.
Yeah.
I'll have Ronnie Corbett.
Isn't it funny she mentions Ronnie Corbett? I can do an excellent Ronnie Corbett impression.
No, you
okay.
can't.
I was talking to the producer just the other day.
Oh, my God, when did he walk in?
Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. I thank you. Lots coming up on the show, including child arrests down, dementia care up, and junior doctors back in after being out. Non-compass-based directions, guys. Give it me. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, I did ask the team to find a better song. They haven't. Instead, they're busy turning on Good Morning, This is Britain, so I'm afraid you have to listen to this.
In a lost
this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. 08459 455 555 is the phone number. Now, we're always hearing how kids today have got fewer boundaries, and if you believe what you read in some of the papers, they're cheekier, more aggressive, more lawless, more naughty, more disrespectful, and just, more unpleasant generally. Well, one charity would like to burst that bubble for you. According to the Howard League for Penal Reform, police are arresting significantly fewer children across the three counties than they were 5 years ago. Catherine Boyle has been looking into this. What do the figures tell us, Kath?
Right, well, if the Howard League's got its sums right, these numbers are down dramatically from child arrest levels 5 years ago. In Hertfordshire, arrests, we're looking at a drop of 67%, with just over 5,000 children arrested in 2008 compared to just under 2,000 in 2013. It's a similar story in Bedfordshire, arrests down by 57%. And in the Thames Valley, which is potentially more telling given the much wider area it covers, because it covers Buckinghamshire, Berkshire and Oxfordshire, child arrests have fallen by 69% over that 5-year period.
Gosh, what's the reduction being put down to?
The Howard League is taking a bit of credit for this, to be fair. The charity says it's been working with police to review arrest procedures and get officers to use more discretion. The idea being to keep as many children as possible out of the criminal justice system, something these figures suggest is now happening. The challenge, according to the Howard League now, is to make sure those numbers don't creep back up again.
Howard League is talking about child arrests. What age does that mean these days?
Well, the age of criminal responsibility in England and Wales is 10, so we're talking about children aged from 10 to 17, because at 18 you're legally an adult. If we break down the figures, over the last 5 years, 11 10-year-olds were arrested across the 3 police areas that cover our patch. And we know that in Bedfordshire, almost 150 14-year-olds were arrested, again, over a 5-year period. What the figures don't tell us is what crimes were committed and whether any children were charged.
So this is great. This means that there's less crime, doesn't it?
Well, not necessarily. The police and Howard League insist that it is the case, and actually it's a mixture of both, that there are fewer arrests because there's less crime. The Howard League believes that the best way to stop crime is to arrest fewer people in the first place, because the idea is that once a young person gets caught up in the system, their behaviour is more likely to spiral. The police tell us that despite what we might read in the papers, crime overall is going down, but of course what we read in the papers is that their figures are skewed.
The police are telling us that. They've not been logging everything, cheeky little sausages.
Well, we can talk about that in more detail this morning. When I say we, you.
Thanks.
You've got Frances Crook from the Howard League. She's on just after 7 o'clock. And then Hertfordshire's Police and Crime Commissioner David Lloyd will be talking to you in the studio at 8.
David Lloyd's coming in.
He is.
He's not been in for a while.
No.
I've not done my hair or anything. Catherine, thank you.
No, you're welcome.
Is that done?
Yeah. Can I go?
Yeah.
Feels weird, doesn't it? After I sat here the whole time yesterday.
Yeah, well, no, it feels good.
Oh.
It feels good.
Okay.
Catherine was in the studio for the whole show yesterday, and it feels... Well, no, don't... If you're going to be...
It felt right. It felt good to me, but it's fine.
No, it felt awkward. But don't go with a cob on. Have you got an attitude? What's her beef, Kels?
Where does the saying cob on come from? What does it mean?
Your mic's on, Kath.
I believe that. Just used me for 3 hours yesterday, and then it's fine.
Your mic's on.
Hi.
Why is there an attitude? We had fun yesterday, but that was
fine.
It was a one-off.
Everything's fine.
You knew the setup. It was a one-off, and then we'd be back to our normal roles.
Right.
And I'd be doing this.
Yep.
And you'd be doing...
Whatever it is I do.
What's her beef, girls?
I think she feels used.
Well, that's her problem. How do you think I feel? Can she hear us?
Yeah, she's very upset.
Nuts. The show was a stinker yesterday, and let's just say...
I tried my best, but he kept talking.
No, who won a Radio Academy Award? Don't call it a Sony.
Us.
No, whose name is on the award?
Ours?
No.
Well, mine is a bit, because I've got... it's Kelly.
That is the worst... Who's your favourite foreign act? 08459 455.
Can I do mine?
Oh, go on, Kelsey's got a topic.
People who sing differently to how you think they're going to sing. Bee Gees, for example, look like lions.
Yeah,
sing like mice.
Neil Sedaka looks like a man, sings like a lady.
It does sing like a lady.
Tracy Chapman. Bloke.
Tracy Chapman is the most boring singer-songwriter. I went out with a girl who had that album. You got a first car.
It's a tune.
It's not a tune. It's not a tune. It's a dirge. Imagine trying to cop off with a girl who you know is up for it when she's playing that mood
when
killer.
Girls are up for it, and then they play that.
That whole
really winds me up.
Sorry.
Tell you what my mate used to swear by.
Oh, God.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
The Dawson's Creek soundtrack.
Yeah, if I'd have been listening to the Dawson's Creek soundtrack to get girls hot, I'd have been copping off with children.
Well, we were much younger than you.
Thank you. What? Steady on, you're 40 this year.
I am not.
08459 455 555.
How old is Kath this year? Speaking of which, Kath doesn't like being called Kath. This is a genuine phone in now.
What? Mine's genuine.
OK, well, you won't get any calls on it.
08459 455 555.
Kath doesn't like being called Kath.
I know.
She's really upset by it.
I'm not.
Shocked.
I would say I'm irked.
She's irked by it.
I thought it was her name.
Well, it's Catherine, but Catherine is 3 syllables. That's just selfish.
Long.
I don't like anyone enough to use 3 syllables. That's crazy. Life is too short,
Even
baby.
Madonna's pushing it.
Yeah, life is too short. So I've been toying with the idea of calling you Kate. Kate.
She's cringing.
That's what my dad calls me. You can't call me that.
But that means it's your name.
It means it's my secret, private, personal name.
Oh.
And if you know that, you own my soul. So can we just leave it at Catherine or Your Majesty?
Oh, flipping it. What on earth should we call Kate? 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, a very good morning, and looking rather quiet so far this morning. We're not seeing any major problems or delays. Expecting some delays on the M1 at Luton Spur between junction 10A, the Kidneywood roundabout, and junction 10 at Luton Airport, as those major roadworks continue there. Also on the M25, narrow lanes between junction 25 for Enfield and 27 the M11. Also a speed restriction to be aware of 50 miles per hour. So far, checking on the trains, and not seeing any reported problems or delays. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Nicola. 6:16. It's Tuesday, the 27th of May. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Latest figures show fewer children are being arrested by police in the 3 counties. Arrests are down 69% in the Thames Valley, which covers Buckinghamshire and Milton Keynes. David Cameron will join other EU leaders in Brussels today, where they will discuss the success of UKIP and other Eurosceptic parties in the European elections. UKIP leader Nigel Farage has named Aylesbury among their general election targets. And junior doctors are to return to Bedford Hospital's paediatric unit from August following a successful inspection.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Inspect this.
Every weekday morning from 9.
Good morning, welcome to the JVS show.
Your local stories.
Have you had to rebuild your life after being a victim of crime? Do you think it's inhumane to keep people in prison for life? Do you think that immigration needs to stop?
Your local life.
Why do 70% of this country feel immigration is wrong?
We've actually got an open doors policy.
I am just so angry listening to some of them people.
What the government are doing, they're starting introducing American-type sentencing, like 200 years in prison.
The JVS show.
British people are not xenophobic.
Weekday mornings from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Rock me, rock me, rock me, rock me, rock me. I'm not serious. Do it, do it, do it.
In der großen Stadt, es war in Wien, war Vienna, wo alles tat. Hatte Schulden, der Natur, doch ihn liebten alle Frauen. Und jede rief, na kann man Rock me Amadeus. Er war Superstar, er war populär, er war so exaltiert, because hatte Flair. Er war ein Virtuose, war ein Rockidol. Und alles rief, na kann man Rock me Amadeus. Du mit Es war 1780 und es war in Wien. No Plastic Money in den Modebanken gegen ihn. Woher die Schulden kamen, war wohl jedermann bekannt. Er war ein Mann der Frauen, Frauen liebten seinen Punk. Er war ein Superstar, er war so populär, er war zu exaltiert, genau das war sein Flair. Er war ein Virtuose, war ein Rockidol. Und alle suchten noch heute Captain Rock me Amadeus. come and rock me, Amadeus.
Oh man, you're missing gold while this record's going out. You're missing gold. So first of all, Kelly thought this song was called Amadeus. Is he saying Amadeus? Amadeus, Amadeus, Mund, two. But what? Then what did you think the song was about?
Is it about the 1984 American period drama film?
What, Amadeus?
Yep.
No!
Well, that's a good film.
It's a good film, isn't it?
I love that
Is
film.
the song about Amadeus, your technology partner, the world's leading supplier of IT solutions?
No!
Is it the Amadeus Digital Property Fund? No?
No!
Is it the multi-award winning venue caterers?
Just say the name again.
Amadeus.
Yeah, fun times. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you... He's dead now.
Amadeus.
Well, yeah, he's... Sorry?
Pauper's grave.
Falco.
Oh.
Died in a car crash, I think.
Oh. Morning.
Sometimes the foreigners... Is he German or Austrian? He's something, isn't he?
Yeah.
Let's say German. Sometimes, for the 99.9% of German music is absolutely awful.
What about 99 Luftballon?
That's the point one. Do you remember Trio? Da da da.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun.
Should we go German this morning?
Let's go German.
Let's play Kraftwerk.
Yeah, I don't really know much Kraftwerk. I know that they're a computer, aren't they?
Don't they just set their demo on and leave?
Because Germans like punk. The Live 8 concert. Remember the Live 8?
Yes, I was there. I was at the back.
I was
with the rich people.
I was with the rich people.
Ending poverty.
Well, poverty's ended, so it worked. So it doesn't matter how we got there. It's ended. Sorry, Kelly?
I was in the womb.
Anyway, so the British concert was great. Bono, Paul McCartney, The Who. The German concert, it was Brian Wilson. Brian Wilson was playing in Germany, surrounded either side by awful German punk bands. It was they love punk over there. Guys, I'm talking to you two.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
They do, don't they? They do, though, don't they?
Flippin' heck. What is this?
Do you know what German song I love?
No, I don't. Go on. Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles.
No, you can't sing that anymore.
Wie grüßt deine Blätzer.
Oh,
you're welcome.
Isn't that sweet? Now, time was, if an elderly relative was suffering with dementia, there's a quantum leap. Gone from German pop songs and folk songs to talking about people with dementia. They'd be sent to a home where they'd be stuck in the TV room and allowed to go quietly dotty. Thankfully, things are changing. Let me give you a local example. At Dame Alice Court in Bedford, they found that people come alive when surrounded by everyday items and photos from their youth. And they've taken that a step further by turning round one of the communal areas into a 1950s hairdresser's. The thinking being that the tiniest memory can spark the mind back into action, almost like jump-starting a car. The project was funded by the government at a cost of £140,000. Well, we sent our reporter Tony Fisher along to meet the homes manager, Vivian Cornelius, to see whether that money was well spent.
So, Vivian, we're now in the hallway, the entranceway.
Yes.
There's a little record player playing there, old-style looking gramophone. If we come down here, we go into what you call the West End area,
That's
is that
correct.
right?
We've themed the corridors after consulting with our customers here so that they're areas of recognition and themed areas so that they'll know where they live. And there'll be interest areas for them. So it reduces isolation and it will help with activities, and rather than having long corridors with nothing there, they've got things to look at and see. So this is the music, theatre and cinema area. As you can see, we've got a TV screen here and it's got films rolling during the day, and they can change it.
And it looks like an old-style cinema, doesn't it? With the curtains either side. And then on the side here you've got pictures of all the old movies. It's a Wonderful Life, Citizen Kane.
Yeah, the
With
idea.
Sound of Music.
That's right. The idea is we've done a sort of timeline, so it will appeal to people through the ages. So the very older customers will remember, and hopefully right through to the 60s, 70s.
Hey, come out with that book!
OK, Vivian, we've walked into the, what do you call this, the radio area? The radio
this
room?
corridor is called Presley Lane, and it's all about music. And it's about bringing back memories of maybe times when they would go to musicals, shows, listen to records more. So again, we've done a bit of a timeline with different eras, so that it will appeal to all people and bring back those memories that maybe have been forgotten over time.
Pictures 1940s, 50s,
Yeah.
Elvis Presley, Doris Day, Beatles, Rolling Stones, Cliff Richard.
Yeah, so there's a sort of something that will appeal to everybody and bring back those memories to everybody. Again, this was a corridor that would have been quite plain and blank, so this is about an area where they can stop now, they can have a rest if it's too long to walk down the corridor, but it gives them something to think about and an area of interest.
We now walked into the lounge area, which looks like a pub, doesn't it? You've got a pub set up, you've got a dartboard, everything to remind them of
The days when they used to go to the pub,
Yes.
This previously was a lounge which didn't have much for use. It was very plain and boring, didn't get much interest in it. So we've tried to theme it again to make it something that might be familiar to many people.
old-style pictures, martini.
Yes, but it will be appealed to different generations, old or young. And as I said, we've got things that are going on in here, so they actually can come and sit quietly, or they can play darts and come and chat with their friends or relatives. So it's just about getting conversations going and bringing back those memories when they would have gone out with their family.
And how much difference does this all make to the people living here, do you think? Or is it a bit early to say? Because you've only just redone all this, haven't you?
That's correct. It is early. Already, though, there are signs that, speaking to the manager here, that there is a lot of interest and people are coming in here with their families and talking about times gone by and what they used to do. So we're already seeing signs, but we will be monitoring that, and our care team here will be analysing and taking sort of data and to see how well it is working.
Well, that was Tony Fisher speaking to the home manager Vivian Cornelius there about that. Kelly Betts is rather excitable at the moment. It's like an excitable little puppy before it's had its knackers lopped off to protect your leg. Kelly, what is it you were saying?
Which part?
The bit you were talking to me about when I was speaking.
Oh, your hair.
Thank you. I don't know what.
The way you've...
What's the beef?
Do you remember Mr. Magica?
I do. Excellent.
Yes. Well, you've got magic powers right about now.
I've got. Yes, I might have. I'm not. Can you just? Well, Kelly's doing the thing where she's trying to stifle a laugh by blowing up her cheeks to look like a fat woman.
I was going to say something very bad.
Okay.
Say
well,
it.
Have you? No, don't say it, because if you know, you can say it if you want. Have you noticed I'm not rising to any of your bait this morning? I think you can. You could almost say that. I'm not rising to any of your bait this morning because I have reached a level of zen.
Yeah?
So I'm not bothered by anything that you say.
In other words, you need another coffee.
Yeah, pretty much. I was getting so much flack. Basically, I've had a transformative experience yesterday.
Oh, really?
From those vapists, e-cigarette users.
Well, you think they might have a point now?
They like to call themselves vapors. They're not. They're vapists. Particularly because when you call them vapors, they get really upset. I've been getting so much abuse from vapists the last couple of days, and I found myself getting het up, getting angry, getting wound up, getting really... Sorry?
How? Why? How? Why? How? Why? Tell us. Why? How?
It's why, how, actually, not how, why.
We changed it up. That's a remix.
Anyway, they were giving me so much abuse. C word this, F word this, W word this, K word this, P word this, R word, everything. All of these words. I was getting angry, I was getting upset, I was feeling bitter. And then my boys took me... We parked in a car park.
Yeah.
To go swimming, more on anon.
Yeah.
And my boys took me on a shortcut from the car to the swimming pool. It wasn't a shortcut, it was a long cut. It involved weaving our way through cars. But it made me think the world is okay and these guys can't hurt me. Not the children, they can. They were jumping on my nuts. The vapists cannot hurt me.
No, because their cigarettes don't burn.
I was reaching a point. What I'm trying to say is there are some things more important than...
Vapists.
Sticks and stones.
There's things more important than sticks and stones.
You can't hurt me with your words.
Me?
Anyone.
Seriously though, your hair.
Oh, for goodness sakes, will you stop doing that? It's rude.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 heading southbound starting to look rather heavy on the speed sensors this morning between junction 10 for Luton Airport and junction 9 for Redbourne. Those major roadworks are taking place on the M1, so often causing delays there. The M25 do expect delays in both directions between junction 25 for Enfield and junction 27, the M11. Major roadworks continue there as well. So far, taking a look at the trains this morning, and everything is running to time. No reported problems or delays. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30, I'm Simon Oxley. Latest figures show fewer children are being arrested by police in the three counties. Arrests are down 69% in the Thames Valley, which covers Buckinghamshire and Milton Keynes. David Cameron will join other EU leaders in Brussels today, where they will discuss the success of UKIP and other Eurosceptic parties in the European elections. UKIP leader Nigel Farage has named Aylesbury among their general election targets. And junior doctors are to return to Bedford Hospital's paediatric unit from August following a successful inspection.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Southampton boss Maurizio Pochettino is in advanced talks with Tottenham to become their new manager. Spurs have been looking for a new manager since sacking Tim Sherwood early this month. Pochettino took over at Southampton in January 2013. Fleetwood won the League Two playoff final, beating Burton 1-0 at Wembley. 3 years after winning the League Two playoff final with Stevenage, former Borough skipper Mark Roberts captained the Lancashire side to promotion.
Unbelievable, look at them scenes there, the fans. You know, they've come in numbers here today. They've not been to Wembley in 30 years. This club, you know, it keeps going from strength to strength. It's an incredible story, and it's just not stopping yet. Some massive games next year. I mean, you know, we'll celebrate this moment, we'll enjoy this moment, because we worked so hard for it over the season since, you know, day one of pre-season. But, you know, League One, we're looking forward to it already.
And Wycombe striker Stephen Craig has signed a new one-year contract. The 33-year-old joined Wanderers last summer. In tennis, there was a major shock at the French Open with the third seed and Australian Open champion Stan Wawrinka losing in 4 sets to Spain's Guillermo Garcia Lopez. Andy Murray starts today against Andrei Golubev of Kazakhstan.
It's a special place. You know, all of the slams are special in different ways, but, you know, I've always enjoyed coming here. I played, you know, the best play court tennis of my career has normally come here at this event, and yeah, I'm very, very excited to be back.
And Mercedes boss Niki Lauda says he will talk to Lewis Hamilton before the next race in Canada to smooth over the tense situation in the team. The Hertfordshire driver accused teammate Nico Rosberg of deliberately going off the Monaco track to stop him challenging for pole in Saturday's qualifying session, with Rosberg then going on to win Sunday's race. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 7.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Oh, this isn't German. What's going on? That's not German.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Hang on a minute. We'll fix this. We can fix this bad boy out. Fix this bad boy. Here we go. Soft start, isn't it?
Hast du etwas Zeit für mich? Singe ich ein Lied für dich von 99 Luftballons auf ihrem Weg zum Horizont. Denkst du vielleicht grad an mich? Dann singe ich ein Lied für dich von 99 Luftballons und dass sowas von sowas kommt.
Was?
Das ist sehr gut.
Ja, das ist einfach klasse, ja!
Einfach klasse.
Yeah. You say that means first class in German.
Wow.
And you say it to a German person, they go, was? Was ist los? They don't know I was taught a dud phrase by my German teacher.
Wow. I only did a year of German.
Franzi.
I did German GCSE in a year. Only got a B.
I did German GCSE in 2 years. I got an E. So I did it in a third year. Oh, soft bit, quiet bit. Whatever. I did it in a third year. I got a D.
Oh.
I had to sit with the class below me.
Were you actually in the class?
Yeah, well, technically.
Das ist nicht sehr gut.
Ja, das ist nicht gut. Nein.
Du hast keine Idee.
Speaking of Germans, that's your cue.
I haven't got anything about German.
Yes, you have, mate.
Where?
You've totally got a German story in the papers.
What about Kate Middleton?
Thank you.
She's not German.
No, well...
Her husband kind of is.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, right, OK, do it again.
No.
Do it again.
Speaking of Germans...
Oh, them royals.
No, but that's not the German part of the story.
Oh, they were the ones looking, were they?
Have you read the story that you want to do?
No, I haven't seen it.
I'll do your story.
You tell me, because you're the one that spotted it.
Privacy row over Kate photograph. A German newspaper has sparked a new royal privacy... What are you doing in here, Kelly?
Taking a picture.
Oh, for goodness sakes. There's a privacy row I didn't give you permission to. I want to sign your waiver. Can I see your waivers? A German newspaper has sparked a royal privacy row by publishing paparazzi shots of the Duchess of Cambridge's bottom.
Oh.
The newspaper article stated... Photos shot our favourite... Can you do the voice?
Carefully.
Photos shot... I can't do it. It's a very angry accent, isn't it?
Yeah, it sounds cross.
Photo shower. Imagine this in German. Photo shower. Favourite Duchess Kate, 32, in the Australian Blue Mountains. The rotor blades of the royal helicopter swirl the air so that Kate's summer dress blew up, giving a clear view of her beautiful bum.
Oh. And do you know what?
Yeah.
It's tidy.
It's very tidy.
You know, it could be far worse.
Just to say, Catherine and I have Googled it.
Well, you Googled it and I looked over your shoulder.
If you want to type in built, Der Bild, Duchess of Cambridge, BILD is the thing, and you'll see it. It'll
and
pop
it's the
up.
sort of thing that, you know, they weren't doing it up the skirt shot, as many paps do.
Right place, right time. She's not listened to the Queen. What's the Queen's advice?
Said, put some weights in the hem of your dress. Did she do it? No, she didn't.
I have never seen the Queen's bum.
No.
Because she's got weights at the bottom of her dress.
Precisely.
Duchess of Cambridge, come on, love. You know, either do it or don't.
Or she could get some... She could do as the footballers do and maybe have some pants with a message on saying...
Up yours, Dolores.
Bog off pervs.
Yeah. And either way, she's got nothing to worry about.
Or God save the Queen.
God save the Queen. She's tidy, as you say. Very, very tidy.
Exactly. But it's unfortunate. I bet she's horrified, but it was an accident waiting to happen.
What else have you got?
There's pictures of Nigel Farage. He's always got a beer in his hand in the pictures in the papers these days,
He must be
hasn't
so
he?
drunk, that man.
Well, I think that's what they're trying to put across. Bit too late now, isn't it?
Is that
Bit
it?
too late to be putting the pictures in of him looking like a crackpot.
You're like the oral equivalent of Matt, the cartoonist.
I know. I could draw it. It probably would be expressed better through the medium of pennage.
Justin.
Morning, boss.
What do you want?
Well, I'm just here to kind of join the conversation and say, Kate, fair play.
Did you see the picture?
No, but I'm desperate to see it now.
I'll send you the link.
Well, yes.
I'll send you the link. You had a story for us this morning, didn't you?
Yes, almost 9 out of 10
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Child star Macaulay Culkin's band pelted with pints in Nottingham. Oh, dear.
Yeah. Apparently they were playing a gig in Manchester last night and he got booed off during this kazoo solo.
Right, OK. If you produce a kazoo, you're asking for it, aren't you?
They're called the Pizza Underground and they play Velvet Underground songs, but they change the lyrics to have pizzas in.
Right.
Flip it.
It's funny, maybe once when you've had a few with your friends behind closed doors.
Justin, you've got a story for us.
Yeah, GCSE German.
Sorry?
I got a U.
Did you really?
I was very proud of that.
Here we go. What exams did you get a U in?
Can't help you there.
Oh, wow. I think history A-level, I think.
Right.
I really was struggled at A-levels are so hard.
Yeah.
You got a U, seriously?
Got 3 A's.
What?
A-level.
But you're...
And a B in general studies.
But you're not as... only a B. You're not as clever as me.
Classes.
You're not as clever as me.
I'm going to make a bold statement right now.
Please do, Just.
OK. The people who are the cleverest, who get the A's and A stars, no common sense. Fact.
That, my friend, is very, very true.
Do you think I'm flighty and whimsical?
Catherine had seen me walk ahead in front of her and turn the corner, this morning. She came through a door going, I know he's there, he's going to jump out and try and scare me. Yeah. I jumped out and I scared her. She's got coffee everywhere.
That's because my mind goes into overdrive. I have an excellent imagination, and I already did the frightening for myself.
Boozy students tried to barbecue a badger at a university campus, it was claimed yesterday.
What?
Why would you want to eat that? It's got TB and rabies and probably other things.
It's a protected species.
Witnesses said the group attempted to cook the dead animal, then flung the charred carcass at the window of an accommodation block. Students get up to far worse than that.
They do stupid stuff.
See, they get up to far worse than that. Haven't we seen what's happening in America recently? Blimey. Justin, you got a story for us?
Yes, Kajagoogoo.
Oh, he knows how to get you, doesn't he? Every time.
Listen, you know that big model of Jesus Christ in Rio?
Yeah, I'm aware of it, yeah.
Did you know you could climb up inside it and pop your head out of his shoulder?
Why?
Because that's what this guy's done. I didn't know that.
Are you allowed to do that?
Well, I don't know.
Or is that some sort of maintenance shaft?
The Sun gets Christ the Redeemer to bless England. Our man scales 2,500-foot high landmark to get World Cup boost. So basically, he's climbed up. And Jesus, that means we're going to win the World Cup. But I didn't know you could climb up inside. Look, he's got his head out of the shoulder. Oh, I'd love to. That's on the bucket list, which is a very trendy phrase at the moment.
Or stick your head out there. That would make me feel sick.
I want to stick my head out of Christ's shoulder.
You've been up the Eiffel. Have you been up the Statue of Liberty?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. I was disappointed with how small it was.
It's tiny, the Statue of Liberty.
Shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not like in Ghostbusters 2.
No, not at all. Hey, Justin.
Yes.
Yesterday, I drank so much urine.
What?
And touched so many bare, naked bodies.
Yes.
It was a really memorable bank holiday Monday.
How are you still here?
Well,
it's bad for you, I've seen some of these drunk programmes at weekends.
No. I was stone cold sober. I went swimming. Sorry?
We've all been there.
I went swimming, right? My wife said, the boys want to go swimming.
That's the problem, everyone had been.
Yeah.
It was a bank holiday, right? The pool was so busy, there was a queue to get in, and the fella said, yeah, sorry, we're only letting people in when other people come out.
They
one
finished.
in, one out?
Yeah, one in, one out policy at the swimming pool, right?
Wow.
So when eventually got in, went into the family, I had the boys with me, went into the family changing room. I will not tell you the conversation that took place in the changing room.
You can imagine, they all got changed together.
They thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Look at that, they said. Anyway, we didn't have change for the locker, so we left our stuff in there, in the dressing room, went to get the change. We came back, there was another family in my dressing room.
No.
And my boy was knocking and he put his head underneath. And normally I'd say don't bother, but I was like, yeah, actually do that, son. And a woman came out and said, I saw all the bags, I didn't see any people. So she gets rocked up and got changed in my dressing room. Anyway, it was what I imagine hell to be like.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you can, sir.
Are you a Speedo man?
Not in public, no. Long knee-length shorts.
Oh, right, okay,
yeah.
Just at home.
Yeah, no buggies, no budgies are being smuggled.
Budgies smuggled, yeah.
It was hellish. It was full of people. There was... I don't think I saw any water. I just saw flesh. Human flesh. I've touched so many fat old men's hairy backs. Disgusting. I mean, Catherine, that's your life, basically. But I felt... What should we call her, Just? Kate? Kathy?
I think...
Catalina?
I think Kath is nice. I know she doesn't like it, but I think Kath has got a nice ring to it. It's kind of a friendly ring. Hi, Kath. It sounds good. Rolls off the tongue.
Hey, Kath. Hey, Katie. Katie?
No. I haven't been Katie since I was about 7.
08459
Can you just not call me Catherine?
555. It's too many syllables.
That's what my name is, though.
It's too many syllables.
That's what my name is, E.
Catherine. 3 syllables.
No.
I'm not going to rise to the bait. I'm zen. Justin, you have genuinely got a story for us about iPods and things.
Yes. Almost 9 out of 10 children, aged 6 to 10, use TVs, iPads, mobile phones, computers and video games whilst having dinner.
Hang on. What are the stats?
Almost 9 out of 10 children.
No.
You say no, but it's happening.
Not in my house.
That is...
Seriously, though. I mean, you're saying not in your house.
No.
Every single evening, your children have got nothing to do with TV, iPads, nothing.
We sit down together, if we possibly can. If it's just me and Dad's not home, we sit down together and we have the telly off and we talk to each other.
No electronic devices during the supper plate. My brother-in-law does this. And he's a really sensible, well-rounded, wonderful man. But at supper, he'll get out the iPad and they'll watch the Who are those Australian idiots?
The Wiggles.
The Wiggles movie. They made a movie.
Wow.
It's quite good,
Is that
actually.
90 minutes of wiggling.
Yes, it is. And they'll watch the Wiggles, and it's got to the point where I've kind of said, look, Matthew, can we... I don't like my boys watching... Can we do something different at dinner? You know, I know I don't want to get in the way of you bringing up your children badly, but can we... I don't want my boys watching this at dinner.
We occasionally have a carpet picnic, and we'll sit and watch the telly and eat pizza on the floor.
Ooh. Ugh.
But that's very rare, and that's a treat.
How common?
Yeah, it's a bit common. It's
a bit,
lovely. It's delicious.
Move back to your roots. In fact, I've managed to get rid of my common roots.
No,
I've cut them off.
My roots are Greg's.
Here we go. I'll tell you this, Justin. If you let your kids play on a computer, play on a phone, watch TV while they're eating their supper or their lunch or anything, you're a bad parent. Boom.
Yes, the controversial view. I think the majority of people nowadays will say, well, what can I do? If my kid wants to watch TV, they're going to watch TV. I don't think we're going to find many parents, a bit like Catherine, who turn everything off and actually sit down and have a family dinner without those distractions.
Everything slows down when the telly goes on. They'll never finish their tea. No, we have it off.
Good
so
for
to
you.
speak.
Hey! And on that bombshell, Justin, go and get some people's opinions. We'll speak to you later.
Thank you, boss.
Ta-ta.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The A1M heading southbound, now looking rather slow between Junction 8 for Stevenage and Junction 7. The M1 heading southbound on the sensors, very slow moving between Junction 11 Dunstable Road and Junction 9 at Redbourne. Taking a look at the M25 heading anti-clockwise, looking very heavy between Junction 21 on the M1 and Junction 18 for Chorleywood on camera. And in Borehamwood looking rather heavy on the A1 heading southbound between the Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner. Also looking rather slow on the M25 anti-clockwise between 16 the M40 and 15 the M4. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Nicola. 6:47, it's Tuesday the 27th of May. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Latest figures show fewer children are being arrested by police in the three counties. Arrests are down 69% in the Thames Valley, which covers Buckinghamshire and Milton Keynes. David Cameron will join other EU leaders in Brussels today, where they will discuss the success of UKIP and other Eurosceptic parties in the European elections. UKIP leader Nigel Farage has named Aylesbury among their general election targets. And junior doctors are to return to Bedford Hospital's paediatric unit from August following a successful inspection. 6:47, let's get the latest weather now. Here's K-Dog.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Do you want to open my mic?
It's
here?
you?
It's me.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I know.
What happened to weather at this time?
I don't know.
They were here yesterday.
I've dialed them up lots and they're not there.
Unbelievable. OK, well, away you go.
OK, off the top of my head, most areas will start off cool and cloudy this morning with showery outbreaks of rain. Sorry, Iain, what were you saying?
Nothing, mate.
This rain will affect most parts throughout much of the day, with occasional heavier bursts at times.
It's
Maximum
finished.
temperature of 18 degrees Celsius.
It's finished.
Take a coat and a brolly.
Don't give people clothing advice.
That's what they want the weather for.
They might have cagoules.
No one has cagoules these days. You're not Gokwan. It's not the now it's what you should wear today report. It's the weather.
Take a coat with a hood.
Don't tell them what to wear.
Some gloves, possibly.
Or a stylish Mac with a belt tied behind and an umbrella.
I want to hear what happened at the carnival. Do you guys?
Yeah.
This.
On Sunday, Luton was a sea of feathers, families and flamboyance.
It's amazing, it's huge. Lots of young people have been working like crazy up at the UK Centre and in their homes.
And we were there live all afternoon.
I'm very proud today. It's the first year that we've taken over the whole event completely.
Hearing from the people taking part.
Tell us, how long have you had to train to actually do this? If you had to practice on this? It doesn't look easy standing here.
The people behind the costumes.
It hasn't got the heels like you have on your normal feet.
And the people who made it all happen.
And people from different ages, adults and kids that were part of this big dancing group.
Catch up with everything you missed via our website, bbc.co.uk/Three Counties.
Been last year, it wasn't as much people last year as it is this year.
Or go to facebook.com/BBC3CR.
Willst du von mir
telling me they don't have a word for baby in German?
They should have called it Liebling.
Liebling. Of course they should have done. What, does that mean baby?
No, it means lovely.
Well, then why they shouldn't have called it that then? They should call it baby in German.
Well, let's find out what baby is in German.
Baby.
Wow. Now, you may remember that trainee doctors were removed from the paediatric unit at Bedford Hospital last July over fears a child could be harmed. The problems were caused by a lack of senior staff to supervise junior doctors. The hospital's chief executive, Stephen Conroy, told me about an incident involving a consultant.
One of our consultants failed to respond to an urgent call-out, to respond to trainees' requirements in the evening for advice.
Consultant failed to return to an urgent call-out?
He failed to respond on the telephone, which is what was required.
That's pretty worrying, an urgent call-out.
That is worrying, and that means that patient safety could be at risk. Now, in that case, no patient harm came to be.
No harm came to be, but was someone potentially at risk? I would imagine they would be if the call wasn't answered.
It's a level of unacceptable risk that we can't stand. We have since...
So the patient was at risk?
The patient could have been at risk.
Well, now Health Education East of England, the body that withdrew the trainees in the first place, says they can now return from August following a successful inspection. The hospital's chief executive, Stephen Conroy, joins me once again. Morning, Stephen.
Morning, Ian.
Are you 100% confident that the incident you described last year won't happen again?
As confident as I can be. Obviously, we're reliant on staff who work on the ward every day, but we've improved things tremendously. We're fully staffed. Got additional doctors and additional nurses compared to last year. We've reviewed all our processes, all our risk management. So I sleep well at night on this at the moment.
What measures have been put in place to make the unit safe for junior doctors to work in?
Well, the main thing is that we've got more senior staff. We've now got 8 consultants in post. We've had a new senior clinical leader, Andy Raffles. I think you've spoken to him before. And we've also done a lot of work with the education and training department about making sure we've got the right curriculum in place and the right support processes for junior doctors across the organisation.
Junior doctors were described as emotional at the time for raising concerns. There were also kind of whispered accusations of bullying. That was unacceptable. Do you think that those problems have been sorted out?
I think they have. I mean, we've certainly talked to our junior doctors on a regular basis. I do myself, and we had a survey recently. The GMC organised an independent survey, and that didn't show up any bullying at all. Not to say there aren't a few problems we need to work on, but certainly no sense of any bullying in the organisation.
How will this be monitored, Stephen? Because if junior doctors have fears and they are feeling uncomfortable to step forward and express those fears, how will that be dealt with?
Well, what we do is we meet regularly with the junior doctors. There are various forums, so if the doctor's not getting support from their immediate consultant colleague, they can go to the education and training department or the director of medical education. We're also starting a series of internet surveys so that junior doctors can rate those anonymously. And I've told them that they can come to me directly or the medical director if they feel that they're not being listened to at any point.
Will all junior doctors return in August, or do they come back in phases? How does it work?
No, they're coming back in phases. I mean, this is the first time that the GMC and Health Education England have ever returned trainee doctors once they've been withdrawn, so that's fantastic news for us. But clearly they're going to be very cautious, and the idea is that they'll give us 4 trainees back in August. They'll carry out a review that's planned anyway in October, and subject to that review, we should get more trainees back following April, and if that goes well as well, for another review, we'll have all the trainees back within the next 12 months.
Stephen, finally, the consultation into health services across Bedfordshire and Milton Keynes has been extended. Why is that, do you think?
The main reason is that we need more time with our doctors across the hospitals and with the GPs to make sure that all the changes that are proposed have been looked at properly, that the evidence has been considered, and the clinicians feel that they're safe and an improvement for the local population. And it's an enormous review. It's very wide-ranging, covering the whole of primary care and both hospitals, so we needed more time.
Stephen, thank you very much. Always good that you come and talk to us, and hopefully things are continuing to go in the right direction. That's Bedford Hospital's Chief Executive, Stephen Conroy, 08459 455 555. Biggers is in Hemel. Good morning, Biggers.
How are you doing, fella?
I'm fine, thank you, Biggers. What would you like to say?
Well, you've got a bit of a German theme this morning, haven't you?
Yeah.
Have you forgotten about the summer hit in 1982, the Eurovision Song Contest winner Nicole, A Little Piece?
Oh, Nicole.
She was fit, mate, wasn't she?
She was certainly a great singer-songwriter, if that's what you mean by fit.
Yeah, just any chance you could play it? I haven't heard it for donkey's years.
I tell you what, we'll play it tomorrow, because we haven't got time now.
All right, then, fella.
A little sunshine, a little laughter, a little something forever after. That was it, wasn't it? Something like that.
Oh, you're a top man, mate.
Biggers, we'll dig it out for you and play it tomorrow. Germans don't really... We don't really have... What's that face?
Oh, no, nothing.
Do you remember that?
It was Days Before Frizzies, wasn't it?
A little... Frizzies? What's a...
Look at some pictures of Nicole.
Is
that who he's talking about?
Sunshine. Yeah, she had long blonde hair.
Yeah.
A little sunshine, a little laughter.
I don't remember it. What year was that?
82. Oh,
Oh, I was 5. Wasn't that Eurovision aware back then?
I'm zen. I'm really zen at the moment, and I'm not riled by your insults.
Your face is bright red.
That's because I just rubbed it really aggressively.
And your neck is veiny.
That's because I'm straining it.
Stay zen.
I'm so flipping zen right now.
Zen's working out really nicely.
Honestly, guys, I am the most zen thing in the world, and your constant little digs and little needles and little is having nicht kleinen Effekten on moi. On mine. Kleinen Effekten on mine.
What's the real problem, Princess?
Sorry?
Tell us.
What? There's no problem.
What seems to be the trouble, Princess?
There is I am so zen at the moment, guys.
Yeah. We can tell.
Who is zen?
We can tell that he's
Who is zen? What's...
He's related to Amadeus.
Good.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 heading southbound, very heavy at the moment between junction 14 at Milton Keynes and junction 13 for Bedford Road. Had a call from Leslie for that, so thank you very much. The M1 southbound also heavy between junction 12 for Flitwick and junction 10 at Luton Airport. The M25 heading anti-clockwise, rather heavy on the sensors between junction 21, the M1, and junction 18 for Chorleywood. In Bricketwood, very heavy at the moment on the North Orbital Road, just off the M25. And in Boreham with the A1 that's looking slow, heading southbound between Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner. Taking a look at the A1M, that's slow as well between junction 8 for Stevenage and junction 7. I'm Nicola Richards for BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. So listen, if you let your kids play with phones, play with Pac-Man machines, watch the computers, play Atari while they're eating their supper, then you, my friends, very, very bad parent.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: large fall in child arrests across the three counties. Farage targets Aylesbury in the general election, and junior doctors returning to Bedford Hospital.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Latest figures show fewer children are being arrested by police in Beds, Herts and Bucks. The biggest reduction in the last 5 years was in the Thames Valley, which covers Buckinghamshire and Milton Keynes, with arrests down by 69%. More from Jessica Cooper.
The information from the Howard League for Penal Reform shows over 5,000 children aged 10 to 17 were arrested in Hertfordshire in 2008, compared to just under 2,000 in 2013. The charity says it's a sign the police are showing more discretion after reviewing their procedures. Last year, 11 10-year-olds were arrested by the three police forces that cover Beds, Herts and Bucks.
David Cameron has been pressing his case for reforms to the European Union in a series of phone calls to EU leaders. He'll join other heads of government in Brussels later today to discuss the sweeping gains made by anti-EU parties in the European elections. Here, UKIP leader Nigel Farage has named Aylesbury among their general election targets and has been recalling the helicopter crash when he was standing in the Buckingham constituency.
It's just over 4 years ago that I crawled out of the wreckage of that aeroplane, wondering whether I had much time left to live. And here I am today, leading a party that has won a national election. So if any of you think you've seen the high watermark of UKIP, you ain't seen nothing yet. Thank you.
Junior doctors are to return to Bedford Hospital's paediatric unit from August following a successful inspection. Trainees were withdrawn last July after concerns were raised about a lack of supervision by senior staff. The hospital say the conditional arrangements will be reviewed at regular intervals. Police are continuing to hunt a prisoner who walked out of an open jail in Buckinghamshire on Sunday evening. 36-year-old Wayne McLeod absconded from Spring Hill Prison in Grendon Underwood sometime between 5:15 and 8:15. Thames Valley Police say they believe he may be in the Reading area. A retirement home in Bedford has come up with a fresh way of helping residents with dementia, backed by government funding of £140,000. Communal areas at Dame Alice Court have been transformed into themed areas. The hairdressers has a 1950s look to help residents remind them of their past. Vivian Cornelius is the manager.
These improvements will hopefully have areas that they will bring back their memory. And it's also about isolation, that people don't feel lost. So having all these themed areas and these different rooms with different activities going on will hopefully improve that.
In sport, Southampton boss Maurizio Pochettino is in advanced talks with Tottenham to become their new manager, and Andy Murray starts his French Open campaign today against Andrei Golubev of Kazakhstan. The weather cloudy with showers or longer spells of rain, which will be heavy at times, a maximum temperature 15 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
I like the old part where you've got a lot of nice green trees, nice park. Yeah, nice. I like it up that part.
It's all about where you live.
If you smile at somebody, they'll tend to smile back at you, so it's quite nice. A friendly area.
And all this week we're featuring Dunstable.
It's not as big as other places, but it's quite like a community feel.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks. BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. 4 minutes past 7, or as close as it needs to be. Lots to talk about this morning. Child arrests are down, dementia care is up, and junior doctors are back in after being out, yes. Other bits and pieces, what do we call Kath? I mean, Catherine is selfish, I think. It's selfish to have a name that's so long, so many syllables.
It's a strong name, it's a traditional name, it's a perfectly nice name.
I listen, it's completely adequate. It's just, I'm so busy. And I've got so much to do. I'm of the MTV generation as well, so focus is hard for me. And by the time I get to Catherine, I've forgotten who I'm talking to and why I want to talk to you.
OK, E, you can play that game.
Mine's only 2 syllables, mate, and only 1 consonant, so...
Catherine.
Well, it starts off with a Kath. It starts off with a K, which is a hard letter. I've got no hard letters in my name. My name is a very soft name. It's very malleable. It's pliable.
Yeah, beige.
Beige is... I'm so flippin' zen this morning. Also, if you allow your kids to play on the phones or the iPads or watch films or anything like that while they're having their lunch or their breakfast, you see you're at the dinner table and you've got your phone out and they're playing on there. No! Why would you do that? Justin has found a study and he's gone out to get people's opinions. We'll speak later. You can give me a call on any of those things if you want. 08 459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Police across the 3 counties are arresting significantly fewer children than they were 5 years ago. That's according to the Howard League for Penal Reform, who say their figures suggest the number of 10 to 17-year-olds arrested in Hertfordshire has fallen by 67%. In Bedfordshire, it's 57%, and the reduction in the Thames Valley is 69%. Well, joining me now is the charity's chief executive, Frances Crook. Good morning, Frances.
Good morning.
These reductions seem massive. What was there a problem before? Were kids being arrested willy-nilly?
Yes, there was a problem. The police have been given targets to arrest people. That's not necessarily bringing people to justice who've actually committed a crime. It's just arresting people willy-nilly. And so it's much easier to arrest a child than it is to arrest a serial burglar, for example. So the police were arresting huge numbers of children completely unnecessarily. And that blights lives. It's very damaging to children. And, of course, it ties up police time unnecessarily. So The reduction in child arrests is much to be welcomed, and the police forces are doing extremely well in focusing their attention on people who really need to come into their ambit.
I'm so naive, Francis. I didn't know you could arrest a 10-year-old. What were they doing to get arrested?
Well, they were just being 10-year-olds.
Oh.
A lot of the time, the police have sort of moved into the area of parenting. And as I say, it's actually quite easy to pick up a child who's perhaps being a bit naughty in the street, kicking a ball around. You can arrest them for just almost anything. And they were brought into police custody and they were processed in having their DNA taken, their fingerprints taken. Some of them were kept overnight and then sent off home. And that was a tick box for the police because they were given a target for arrests. Well, this is completely balmy, of course. So the significant reduction is much to be welcomed. And police forces like Hertfordshire have put a lot of effort into giving their frontline police officers professional discretion to resolve things. So, for example, if a child is caught shoplifting, much better to take the child back to the shop, make them apologise, promise not to do it again. Everybody's happy. The shopkeeper feels assured that they're not going to lose their stock in future. The child is dealt with appropriately. Parents can be involved. It's quick, it's cheap, it's effective. So much better than going through the formal process.
Does that always work, though, Francis? Because some people listening to this might be thinking, well, hang on, if a kid's nicked something, then they should see the full process of the law to stop them doing it again. If they just get taken back to the shop and they give it back, they might think, phew, I got away with that.
Well, the evidence shows that actually resolving things immediately is much better for victims, much better for children, and much better for the taxpayer. It is much more likely that the child won't do it again. I mean, you've got a uniformed police officer dealing with it professionally. And the victim gets an apology, which they want. Whereas if you arrest the child, the victim doesn't see the child, doesn't have any say in it, is ignored, doesn't know what's happened, and actually it's much more likely for the child to feel very resentful and angry, and once they get caught up in the criminal justice system, they're more likely to behave badly rather than less. So what the police are doing is absolutely right. It's good for victims, it's good for taxpayers, it's good for children, it's good for parents as well, who should be taking responsibility.
So the number of arrests for just kids being kids is down. The number of arrests on kids kind of committing crimes is down. Are there actually less crimes happening?
Yes, child crime has really significantly dropped, and I think it's partly to do with this much more sensible policing. As I say, we know that once you've got children involved in the criminal justice system, they're more likely to behave badly rather than turn their lives round. So by reducing unnecessary child arrests, the police are actually reducing crime as well. And so, for example, Hertfordshire, child arrests down by 2/3, Bedfordshire by 57%. This is helping to reduce crime, and children are committing fewer crimes. This is fantastic news.
Well, Francis, thank you very much for joining us, and if what you're saying is correct, then we should be celebrating this. That's Francis Crook there, who is the Howard League for Penal Reform's Chief Executive. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yeah, I know. Her name was Crook, and we were talking about legal matters. Do you see more people should have names that are connected with their line of work? For example, if you're a baker, you should be called
Steve
Buns.
Steve Buns. If you're a plumber, you should be called
Joe Pipes.
And if you are a gardener, you should be called
Matt Leaf.
It's just an idea.
I'm a massive gambler.
Wow, that's an admission to make on the radio out of nowhere.
My surname?
I don't know.
Kelly Betts. You see?
It's not it's not kind of a... Oh, I like the fact you're doing the Bueller gag and you don't really get it.
Yeah, well, I do get it.
I once knew a police press officer called Des Lawless.
Oh.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite...
And there was a Robin Banks, I'm not even joking.
Did he sing Amadeus?
We got some... You've got baby in German for me.
Ja, ich habe Baby von Deutsch.
Go on then.
I don't know.
So that's baby.
Baby, so they weren't completely wrong. So das Baby is a baby.
Okay.
But I can imagine the Germans would say, why are you referring to a child? Surely you're talking about your sweetheart.
But there are so many other... Das Kind child.
A kind, das Kind is a child.
Das... I've got to be so careful how I say this. There's umlauts
Das
there.
Schätzen.
Schätzen.
Is your baby, honey, darling, sweetie, sweetie,
So they should be singing Schätzen. Schätzen, 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 Patak.
The Saugling, the infant baby suckling. Oh, that's a suckling, a baby in arms. No, we're talking about an actual child
Go
there.
on. I want to see what you do. Go on.
Kleiner is your little one or your baby.
Yeah.
Johnny Vernon Smith could tell you this. He speaks von der Deutsch.
Does he? That's good.
Yeah. De Pooper.
I'm waiting for the next one.
De Mietzer. Oh, that's your little puss.
De Mitza. Pussy.
What
Puss.
did you call something?
Broad.
Dog.
And De Piccolo. Well, that's a lot of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, the Germans... Who says the Germans aren't fun?
I like the Germans. I've not got anything... Hey, the Macaulay Culkin in the paper again.
I like the Germans, but I prefer the Dutch.
The Dutch hate the Germans.
Well, I know.
Oh, are you German? No, I'm Dutch!
Well, it's like when the Americans say to us, are you Australian? No.
No, I'm English!
I say yes.
Can't hear a reffing thing.
Oh.
This story is funny, but I don't know if it's meant to be funny. Maybe it's not funny. This story isn't funny. This story's sick.
Tell me and I'll decide whether it's funny or not.
This is a sick story.
Hurry up.
A deaf football team faced double relegation after losing all but one of their games. Sad so far, actually.
Well, it happens. It's sport.
Because their players couldn't hear the referee's whistle.
Oh, surely you think of that.
Yeah, why would that got to that point? They should say, I'm not gonna whistle. Instead, I'm gonna do this.
I'm going to shoot one of you.
Star jumps.
And when one of you collapses on the floor with a bullet in the foot, that means the game's over.
Surely they were playing other deaf players. They managed.
Yeah,
it sounds like sour grapes to me.
Yeah. Well, why would they be playing other deaf players? There can't be that many deaf players.
Why not? They're sporty.
Why didn't they just think it through before doing it and then writing about it in the papers?
So, sorry, I'm confused. Are you saying this is or this isn't a funny story?
I think
it's not a funny. It's not really a story. No.
Well, it's that's
not.
disrespectful to deaf people now, is it? They're not newsworthy.
No, I'm not saying that.
I think it's sour grapes.
From the part of the deaf people?
Yeah.
I don't think they can have sour grapes.
Yeah, they can.
If anyone's entitled to have sour grapes, it's them.
Why? They're playing football like anyone else. That's why they're trying to pull a fast one like any other footballer.
Why would they not? Why would not being able to... Hang on a second, you're right. Why would not being able to hear the referee's whistle mean that you lose? You don't need to hear a whistle to score a goals.
How many did they lose by?
Like, probably loads.
Well, then there you go. There's your answer.
Their goalkeeper was secretly on the other team.
Here we go, guys. I've got to the truth of this story by reading a little bit further. The football club, Birmingham Deaf FC, were also deducted 9 points for failing to turn up for 3 games. Oh, slackers. A player from Red Star Galaxy, who beat them 4-2 and then 9-3, said, "Their players just carried on running with the ball whenever there was a stoppage. They must have been exhausted."
South African.
When the half-time whistle blew, they knew nothing about it. One player even went on and put the ball in the net and ran off celebrating. You had to grab them and point them at the ref. It was very difficult.
Do you still work there on a weekend?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Little suggestion. Don't do the voice.
Oh, rude. 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 heading southbound looking very slow at the moment between the Newport Pagnell services and junction 13 for Bedford Road. Also on the M1 further down, queuing at the moment between junction 12. That's the latest.
Whoa,
BBC Three Counties Radio.
What? No, that's not... What the hell is going on there?
Just got off.
Your computer's gone off?
Just frozen and gone off.
What was it? I also heard like a whooshing noise, like a demon or something.
Oh, yeah, I think that was a demon in the computer.
Wow.
Breaking my computer.
Just make it up.
Apologise.
What's happening on the trains?
Terrible, wouldn't
no,
it?
Okay, come on, who cares? What's happening on the trains?
At the moment, it's looking good. Nothing's happening.
How do you know that?
reported
Nothing's happening on your
problems or
computer?
delays. Well, just before it crashed, I had a look.
Right.
Oh, terrible.
We wouldn't have got this with...
Apologies.
We wouldn't have got this with Peterson. Is that a person? That's a person, isn't it?
Justin, yeah.
Yeah. We wouldn't have got this with Peterson. We wouldn't have got this with Glossop. And even Adam Glynn was
oh, no, I knew you'd bring him up.
Even Adam Glynn
legend.
was
well, travel legend.
That's never been said. Don't worry, we'll speak to you later on. Don't panic. Where's my heads? Where's my heads? There's my heads. .17, it's Tuesday the 27th of May. I'm Iain Lee and these are your headlines. Latest figures show fewer children are being arrested by police in the 3 counties. Arrests are down 69% in the Thames Valley, which covers Buckinghamshire and Milton Keynes. UKIP leader Nigel Farage has named Aylesbury among their general election targets. And junior doctors are to return to Bedford Hospital's paediatric unit from August following a successful inspection.
BBC 3 Counties Radio. Roberto Perrone.
Gardeners wanting to rid their spring flower beds of snails can ditch the beer traps and eggshells and instead develop a strong throwing arm instead.
Weekdays from 3.
I don't think there's any ethical dilemma about throwing them as opposed to killing them. It's clearly better to throw them.
Hertfordshire Police are warning drivers to take extra precautions with their vehicles following a rise in the number of cars stolen using specialised hacking equipment. 2/3 of teachers say poor writing has prevented them giving the marks a student truly deserves.
Roberto Perrone.
I do the animal stories. I also do the space stories, apparently.
Weekdays from 3 on BBC 3 Counties Radio.
Now, years ago, if you started to develop dementia, you were either cared for quietly by a family member or shuffled off to a retirement home. In both cases, you're probably left to, not really do a lot and just sit around in your pyjamas. Thankfully, things are changing. One home in Bedford has used a government grant to give a communal areas a 1950s makeover. The idea being that surrounding people with things they remember from their youth can bring back their spark, if only for a short time. Well, I'm joined now by Roger Sewell, whose wife had dementia and was cared for him at home. Good morning to you, Roger.
Good morning.
Well, when did you... I don't know your wife's name. I do apologise.
It was Leonie.
Leonie. When did you realise that Leonie was changing and was getting poorly?
Well, it was about 12 years before... about 12 years before.
Mm.
Yes.
And how did it manifest itself? Was it kind of small, subtle things to start with?
Oh, indeed, yes. And it was repeating things and generally forgetful, losing things, and very well hidden. You know, she was aware of this happening, and she tried to cover it up. You know, this sort of thing.
And you made the decision to care for Leonie at home.
Yes.
Why was that so important for you?
Well, we've been married for over 50 years, and it was a commitment to each other, and I think that that was the main thing, and I didn't want to abrogate my responsibilities as a partner.
My granddad had dementia, and I saw how devastating it was towards the end. It must have been hard work for you both.
It was hard work, and it became progressively harder as time went on, both physically and mentally. One did it. But that doesn't mean to say everybody can do it. I fortunately had good health, and I was able to manage her, and therefore that was all right. But for people who can't do that, I wouldn't judge them at all. They might find it hard.
Did you have help, Roger? Did I don't know. Was there social help? Did you have friends and relatives who helped out, or were you doing this mainly on your own?
No, I had a lot of help. I had help from the Borough of Bedford, from social services, which one had to fight for all the way, but there was help available. Bedford has been very lucky in some very far-sighted people who have set up organisations which do help people with dementia and their carer, because I think you have to take them together. That they're not separate units, and this is the mistake that is now happening, that there are two separate units, but they're not. They're one body, the carer and the person with dementia. They're a unit, and they need to be cared for together.
Did you have any tricks, Roger? And by tricks, I mean kind of little aids that helped Leonie stay in the present or be more aware of where she was and what was going on?
Yes. We had... music is one of the most marvellous things for people with dementia, because it's something which enters the whole body and soul. And music is very important. Memorabilia, photographs, but as the disease develops, it becomes harder to relate to it. But to begin with, that and being active, going out for walks and those sort of things, keeping active is very important.
So I would imagine that this idea that this care home is using of kind of creating a sort of 1950s environment in one of the rooms, does that sound like a good idea to you?
Yes. For the initial stages, this is very important. But you can do that at home by having a memory box where you have a box where you have all the things from your past that you can find, photographs, articles, and you can go through these.
Roger, it sounds like you did a cracking job. I really appreciate you sharing your story with us this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Roger, thanks. Roger Sewell, who looked after his wife, Leonie, joined now by Dr. Helen Donovan, a consultant clinical psychologist working in Bedfordshire and Luton. Good morning to you, Doctor. We heard there, Roger, talking about the memory box. We've heard about this care home where they've kind of recreated sort of 1950s environment. How does that work? What are the benefits of having those familiar things around you?
Well, I think it's important to realise, obviously, that people with the most common forms of dementia will have problems with their short-term memory or their recent memories, whereas their longer-term memories or their remote memories will be more intact. So, when we're trying to have conversations with one another, often we talk about what's happened recently, but for people with dementia, that will be more difficult. So having items around them that remind them of times and experiences that are very familiar will make things more accessible and make conversations easier and more familiar.
Roger was saying, I thought he told his story excellently, that this kind of really worked in the earlier stages, and by the later stages, it's too late, and that has very little impact. Does that sound about right?
Well, often as dementia progresses, it becomes more difficult even for people to communicate or to direct their attention. But even once people's conversation and things becomes more limited, often just having items to jointly look at or hold, or things, he mentioned the memory box, that can still be quite meaningful for individuals as well. And I think it's important not to give up on ways to interact and things to focus on together.
Here's something, Helen, that was mentioned the other day here, and it kind of struck me as quite interesting. My mum hasn't got dementia, but she's got a degenerative illness, and she forgets so many things, really forgetful. She's in a care home, and quite often she'll phone me up and ask where she is or when she's going home and all those things. And I've spent a lot of the time saying, well, this is where you are, this is why you're here. And someone suggested that maybe the best thing to do is to kind of indulge her fantasies a little bit, because she'll have forgotten it the next day. What's your take on that?
Well, I think there's an ethical issue there, and people have different feelings and thoughts about that. Rather than, and I think one of the things is that we don't want to get into what might be perceived as lying, because that can feel deceitful or misguiding to people. But often just redirecting people's attention to something that helps them feel reassured. It can be really helpful, reminding them of something familiar, talking about something that feels familiar. that can be very helpful. One of the things I liked when I heard Vivian speaking earlier on your program, and she talked about the fact that previously the corridors might have been quite bland, nothing there. So just the idea that there are things which would spark people's interest, that give you a focus of attention. Of course, if you're in an environment with not much in it, that increases people's their discomfort, and they're wondering about, where am I? What's going on here? Whereas if you've got things around that help people feel interested or stimulated, it can provide a focus of attention, something to talk about. And so it might reduce that sense of disorientation and worry that occurs for people in unfamiliar environments.
Helen, I appreciate your time. Thank you. That's Dr. Helen Donovan, consultant clinical psychologist working in Bedfordshire and Luton. It's interesting, isn't it? By the way, we had a text in from Peter saying it's not just old people that get dementia. Thank you for that. It's absolutely right. It's interesting, isn't it? I do kind of wonder about what things I kind of point out to my mum and what things I don't point out. I had to tell her several times that my dad's dead, her ex-husband. And a couple of times she's got really upset. When's your dad going to come and see me? She's not seen him for years. And you go, oh, he's dead. And she gets upset. She's
finding out.
She's finding out again or where am I? Oh, you live in a care home because you can't look after yourself. Boom, she gets really upset. So is there any harm in going, oh yeah, no, Dad's fine. He'll be all right. I'm seeing him next week. Is there any harm in that? Because it must be so painful to have to relearn horrible things over and over again.
Towards the end of my grandmother's life, she was convinced that she was at school and that she was waiting for her dad to pick her up.
Mm.
It was difficult to know whether to just say, yeah, I'll be here in a minute, where she'd feel better and reassured.
Yeah.
Or to explain to her that what she thought was real wasn't real. I mean, It's difficult, isn't it? You think, which way do I upset them more?
My mum, quite often, and I tend not, I never answer the phone to my mum late at night because it means she's really tired and is going to be rambling. But she quite often phones up in tears saying, Ian, I want you to buy me a car and buy me a house. I'm moving out. And I have two little tricks now, is to say, OK, well, let's talk about it tomorrow, by which time generally it's gone. Or I start talking about the boys. So, OK, we'll do in a minute. But the boys today, you should have seen them at the swimming pool there, and it kind of is enough. It's a distraction. 08459 455 555. Would love to hear your stories on that. And Peter, thank you for your text. BBC Three Counties Radio. Let's get the travel news now.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 heading southbound, very slow at the moment between junction 15 for Northampton and junction 14 for Milton Keynes. Had two calls from Leslie and Phil for that, so thank you very much. Queuing on the M1 as well between junction 12 for Flitwick and junction 11 at Dunstable Road. The M25's queuing as well, heading anti-clockwise between junction 21, the M1, and junction 18 at Chorleywood. Taking a look in Harpington, rather heavy at the moment on St Albans Road at Station Road. And the A1 is looking rather slow between the Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner. So far on the trains, not seeing any reported problems or delays. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Latest figures show fewer children are being arrested by police in the three counties. Arrests are down 69% in the Thames Valley, which covers Buckinghamshire and Milton Keynes. UKIP leader Nigel Farage has named Aylesbury among their general election targets, and junior doctors are to return to Bedford Hospital's paediatric unit from August following a successful inspection.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Southampton boss Maurizio Pochettino is in advanced talks with Tottenham to become their new manager. Spurs have been looking for a new manager since sacking Tim Sherwood earlier this month. Pochettino took over at Southampton in January 2013. Fleetwood won the League Two playoff final, beating Burton 1-0 at Wembley. 3 years after winning the League Two final with Stevenage, former Borough skipper Mark Roberts captained the Lancashire side to promotion.
Unbelievable. Look at them scenes there, the fans. You know, they've come in numbers here today. They've not been to Wembley in 30 years. This club, you know, it keeps going from strength to strength. It's an incredible story, and it's just not stopping yet. Some massive games next year. I mean, you know, we'll celebrate this moment, we'll enjoy this moment, because we worked so hard for it over the season since, you know, day one of pre-season. But League One, we're looking forward to it already.
And Wycombe striker Stephen Craig has signed a new one-year contract. The 33-year-old joined Wanderers last summer. In tennis, a major shock at the French Open with the third seed and Australian Open champion Stan Wawrinka losing in 4 sets to Spain's Guillermo Garcia Lopez. Andy Murray starts today against Andrei Golubev of Kazakhstan.
It's a special place. All of the slams are special in different ways, but I've always enjoyed coming here. I played the best play court tennis of my career has normally come here at this event, and I'm very, very excited to be back.
And in Formula One, the Mercedes boss Niki Lauda says he will talk to Lewis Hamilton before the next race in Canada to smooth over the tense situation in the team. The Hertfordshire driver accused teammate Nico Rosberg of deliberately going off the Monaco track to stop him challenging for pole in Saturday's qualifying session, with Rosberg then going on to win Sunday's race. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 8.
Simon, what was the name of that racing driver, Nicky?
Lauda.
What was the name of that racing driver?
Lauda.
Hey!
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain
baby.
Ray.
BBC Three Counties
Come
Radio.
on, guys.
You know that's the best joke in the world. Guys!
That's the best thing you've ever said.
That is in the podcast.
Yeah.
This bit me now, going on about it, is in the podcast.
Oh.
And you guys praising me, which you're going to do shortly, is in the podcast. Do it.
But what was his name, though? What was his name? Did you do a joke?
I'm not sure.
Louder.
Did you do a joke? Did you do a joke, Iain?
A little bit of wheeze come out. This is the best thing we've ever done.
Wheeze?
This is the joke. The joke is now bigger than all of us.
What joke, though? What joke? What was his name?
Louder.
What was his name?
Matt, do you want to play?
No, I think you're cracking up, Iain.
What was his name, Matt?
What joke?
Right, what was the... were you listening to Simon Oxley doing the news?
No.
OK, he mentioned a racing car driver called Nicky, and I go... What was...
Nicky Lauda.
No.
What was it?
What was it? What was his name?
Nicky Lauda.
No, what was his surname? You've really muffed this up, Matt.
Yeah.
Nicky Lauda.
No, I'm yours. Oh, for goodness sakes! Who lets this guy on?
Yeah.
You're supposed to say just louder, and I'm supposed to shout.
All right, you shout then.
I will in a minute. I'll give you a bunch of fives as well.
Well,
what was the racing car driver's name?
Nicky Lauda.
No, Matt. Kath, you explain to him. Maybe a woman's touch.
I don't know. I don't get it.
No,
what was
I
his
don't
name?
get it.
Louder.
What was his name?
Right, Matt.
Yes.
So right. What was his name, Matt?
Louder.
What was his name, Matt? Keep going.
You're not catching me out here.
Well, I just did. Hang on a second, because I know you've got an important point to make, but I think this is even more important.
You know, Iain, you sound more like Chris Evans every day.
Yeah, you said that yesterday, Matt. Ken?
And I'm going to turn it off.
Good. I'm going to come and turn your radio to... Ken?
What?
What was that racing car driver's name?
Dunno.
Matt, you tell him.
Louder.
Matt?
Yes?
What would they call a male prostitute?
Whoa! What the heck? Where did that come from?
That is terrible.
That is... Ken, what on earth made you think that at 7:35 it'll be appropriate to say that?
What?
Ken, louder!
You were talking on Sky News about someone's pubic hair.
I don't care, for goodness sakes! Right.
What do you think this is?
Oh, God.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, I apologise for the last 2 minutes of radio. That was...
Draw a line under it. Just say to Matt, what did you phone for?
Matt, what did you phone for, mate?
Well, you're talking about the dementia.
Yes.
Back to... the music is the greatest thing in the world.
Yes.
Dementia. Because I had it with Margaret, and she loved the music.
Well, did she like the same music that you like? A bit of Daytime Friends and Nighttime
she
Lovers?
Kenny Rogers and Johnny Cash.
Oh, good bit of country.
Steve Earle.
Yeah.
Bob Seger.
Can I ask, why did you and Margaret, how did you and Margaret get into country music?
Well, I've always been into country music, but Margaret used to love Matt Monroe and people like that. She loved old-time music, and I really pushed her onto music.
Yeah.
When she got the dementia, she had to, you've got to have something to fall back on to take the pressure out of you.
Yeah.
Because you're under pressure all the time. But if you have the music, I used to do a lot of singing, karaoke, we've done all that.
Blimey, I bet that was awful. I bet that was awful.
No, it wasn't.
I
She
bet you
loved
were
it.
terrible.
And she was a great singer herself.
I bet she was wonderful, but Matt, I mean, I've heard you sing, mate. I wouldn't inflict that on my worst enemy.
Well, neither would I on you.
Good lad. And when she listened to the music, when she was poorly, did it just soothe her, or would you say it took her back to a different time?
Yes, it would. Like, she had the Drifters were one of her favourite groups, and she could remember all the things going back. But to get her happy and really relaxed, the music was the best.
Yeah.
It was brilliant, and I still do it now. I go to the home now, and I still sing along.
Oh, mate. Matt, why... Seriously, those people, haven't they suffered enough? you want to make things worse for them?
No, we have a bit of a comedy thing. I like to do me Mrs. Brown. I go around and we have a chat.
Hang on,
it's great.
You're Mrs. Brown? What, the comedy show?
You know Mrs. Brown. You know what she's like.
What, do you dress up as her?
No. I don't need to, because I swear enough.
Oh, Matt! Don't you dare start listening to Chris Evans, Matt, or there will be trouble, OK?
OK, mate.
Thank you very much indeed, Matt. Are we allowing Ken back on? We're going to allow Ken back on, despite...
If he watches what he says, let's give him a chance.
Flipping heck, Ken, you've dropped 2 Ds.
What?
You've dropped 2 D bombs.
Oh, my...
Category Ds.
You were talking about it on...
No, I was talking about it on Skype. I didn't use the words.
Well, what do you want to draw pictures in?
Well, there was a story in the papers at the weekend that a high street chicken place, one of the customers was rude, so one of the people working in the high street chicken place put some, I said intimate body hair on the chicken.
But that could be anywhere.
Well, I think...
intimate, you know where it is.
You've drawn the conclusion, it's the, you know...
Call a spade a spade.
I'll call you banned in a minute. And then you go, what do you get? What did you call a male... You can't tell jokes like that.
That's a nice thing to talk about on a Sunday morning.
Well, what about on a Tuesday morning? Talking about men having to sell their bodies to feed, their children.
And may I remind you two gentlemen, the children are off school.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means no one's listening.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fair play, Kels. Nice one.
That's it.
What do you want, Ken?
I don't know what I rang up for now.
Thanks very much. Let's go to Justin Dealey. Justin.
Can I just say,
yes.
A few people recently have said to me, that Ken, is he real?
Yeah.
Is it somebody inside the building? No, I can confirm right now he is a real character.
Well, let's Ken.
What?
Are you real?
Yeah, of course I'm real.
Are you're not Barry Caffrey, are you?
Oh, no.
No, you're not Tara, are you? Because she's got quite a manly voice at certain times. No?
Do you know what I would love?
Yeah, go on.
A picture of Ken.
Yeah.
No.
What, Ken?
What?
Can we have a picture of you?
What do you look like?
Signed.
Do you know what I imagine?
What?
Tony Curtis.
No, without the wig.
It is?
Are you small?
No.
Are you round?
Talking about my private part.
Ken, thank you very much. Has he been smoking the old hubbly bubbly this morning? What on earth is going on with him?
Incredibly, yes, he is real.
Oh, man alive. I can only apologise to the listeners of the radio show and indeed the listeners of the podcast. We had to include that just so that you get to understand what I have to deal with every single day of my life.
Crazy guy.
Crazy guy. Ken's a crazy guy. Woo! Yeah. Ken's a crazy guy. Another key change. Ken's a crazy guy. Kate, you're not joining him.
No, it's silly.
What do you mean it's silly? We're just having a little bit of bants.
I think it's silly. And I'm looking at Dolly Parton's secret tattoos.
This is why, Kate, that when we all go out for meals and stuff, we don't invite you.
She's not a Kate. I can't.
Not to you, I'm
I
not.
can't take her as a Kate.
How can you? What way would you take her?
I prefer Boyle.
Oh.
Oh, I'd see that if I were going to change any part of your
KB?
name, it would be the Boyle.
What about if we call her KB?
She's
KB2.
You're KB1. It's a tough one, isn't it, Just?
It's very tough.
What do you call a member of the team who's a little bit of an outsider and doesn't fit in?
Yeah. Why don't you call him Ken 2?
Ken's part of the team.
My name's Ken. Had a friend called Ben. He had a pen.
You know
Wasn't
he's
very
still on
good.
the line.
Only scored it 5 out of 10.
Right, Justin.
Yes, boss.
We've got you on. What was this survey you found?
Almost 9 out of 10 children aged 6 to 10, they're using TVs, iPads, mobile phones, computers, video games and radios whilst having dinner.
This is so wrong. This is so wrong. When your kids are having your dinner, let me have a think. Why don't you sit with them and have a conversation? I haven't got time. It's half an hour out of your life. If you haven't got time to sit with your kids and ask them what they did at school that day, then why did you have children?
I mean, you made the point earlier on, if you allow your children to watch television during dinner time, you're a bad parent. You put it out there, didn't you?
Yeah, totally.
So I've been talking to parents this morning about this. The second person coming up, some very awkward pauses here, but I've been finding out whether parents allow their children to watch TV or play with iPads during dinner time. And Ian, here's what's happened. Christine, you've got an 8-year-old daughter. At dinner time, is everything switched off so you have dinner as a family?
Yep. Everything's switched off because I don't like watching TV when I'm eating. I just don't like watching TV. I'm being brought up like it, so if I've been brought up like it, I'd rather have my daughter being brought up like it.
So does she say to you, come on, Mum, let me watch the TV?
Nope. She's pretty good.
Ian's saying this morning that if you let your child play on iPads, computer games, let them watch TV during dinner, that you are a bad parent. Would you go along with that?
Yeah, I would actually. Because I don't agree with people letting their daughters or sons watch TV when they're eating their dinner because they're bringing them bad habits.
Alex, you have 2 children. How old are your children?
10 and 15.
Now, do you let them watch TV, play on iPads, video games during dinner?
Only television. No iPad or video games during dinner. The television's on in the front room and we're sat at the dining table, but they can just turn around and watch the television between mouthfuls.
I'm not telling you how to be a parent, but why don't you turn that TV off?
Basically because more arguments if we do. Stops the arguments.
So it's not worth the hassle?
Yeah, basically.
So, I mean, do you not talk at all then during dinner time as a family?
Oh, yeah, we talk. You know, we can turn the telly off, but...
You never do?
But not usually, it's usually on.
Ian's saying this morning, if you're a parent and you allow your children to watch TV during dinner time and play on computer games, you're a bad parent. That's his view. You're somebody who lets their children watch TV during dinner time. Are you a bad parent?
I hope not. Don't think my kids would say so.
They turn around and watch TV in between mouthfuls.
There is the quote of the year so far. Incredible, absolutely incredible.
The thing is, kids learn behaviour from their parents. So yeah, the first few times you do it, you might get stopped. You might get stopped for a week or so. They'll get over it, and if they get too stroppy, well, my kids, I have 2 threats now. I have 2 threats. The first one is I'll put the TV in the garage then. Because I've done that before. I've unplugged the TV in front of them and I've locked it in the garage.
Good for you.
And said, well, if you start behaving, you'll get it back. So that's a threat. I had a great threat yesterday. My eldest boy, he had a little bowl full of raisins, nice raisins. Threw them across the floor. He said, I don't want these. Threw them across the floor. I went, right, go and pick them up. I was really zen. He said, I'm not going to do it. And he started drawing a picture. It was a really good picture, actually. I said, go and pick them up. I'm not going to do it. I said, right, OK, well, I turned the TV off. Right, OK. I don't want to watch the TV. Fine, pick them up. Not going to do it. I picked up my phone and said, right, I'm going to call your teacher up. No, why are you doing that? I said, no, I'm just going to call your teacher. Let's call her Mrs. Jones. I'm calling Mrs. Jones up and I'm going to tell her, and I'm dialing the number. I haven't got a clue what her number is. I'm going to tell her, no, put the phone to my ear. hello, is that Mrs. Jones? He was over on the floor picking up those raisins and sultanas.
Oh, genius.
Apples, coconuts, bananas. And he put them all in the bowl. And I went, just to let you know that my son is being a very, very good boy. And I put the phone down and...
Fantastic
got away
threat.
with it worked. It's a good one. It's a good one,
Yeah,
Justin.
I like it.
Justin, thank you very much. We'll speak to you later on. 08459 455 555. How do you keep your kids in check?
We've got fairies.
Sorry?
We've got fairies.
Hey.
There's a door in my skirting board.
Oh, I've seen those doors, yeah.
And if there is nonsense, the fairies leave.
Yeah.
So the door disappears.
And does that work?
Yeah.
It's a good one, that, isn't it?
So that happens. I also withdraw privileges, prison rules.
Yeah.
So, in your situation, the colouring would have gone.
Yeah.
And I would have started ignoring them.
Yeah.
And saying,
the ignoring's a good one.
If you're not going to be nice to me, I'm
Yeah.
not going to be nice to you.
Yeah, the ignoring's a good one.
Yeah.
What I've noticed as well is when one's been really naughty, the other one starts sucking up and getting all the cuddles.
Yes.
How do you deal with your children? Let's have the tricks, please. I threatened to phone his teacher, and I've put the TV in the garage before. It will happen again. 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 heading southbound very slow at the moment between junction 15 for Northampton and junction 14 for Milton Keynes. Been getting quite a few calls for that, so thank you. The M1 southbound also slow between 13 at Salford Road and junction 11 Dunstable Road. The M25 heading anti-clockwise, queuing at the moment on the sensors between junction 21, the M1 and 18 at Chorleywood. In Bricketwood, very slow moving on the North Orbital Road just off the M25 and also on the M40 London bound. That's looking heavy as well between junction 5 for Stokenchurch and junction 4 for the Handy Cross roundabout. So far on the trains, no reported problems or delays. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Ken.
What?
You still there?
It's my poem.
You want to do the poem now?
Yes, without you touching that knob. Without touching your knob on there.
Go on then, quickly.
My poem.
Quickly do your poem.
In the road they boldly stand.
We haven't got time, Ken. It's the news. 7:4. Try and get it before the end of the show. 7:47. It's Tuesday, the 27th of May. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Latest figures show fewer children are being arrested by police in the three counties. Arrests are down 69% in the Thames Valley, which covers Buckinghamshire and Milton Keynes. UKIP leader Nigel Farage has named Aylesbury among their general election targets. And junior doctors are to return to Bedford Hospital's paediatric unit from August following a successful inspection. Let's get the latest weather now. It's with Kelly. I'm sorry.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
You're welcome. Cool and cloudy with heavy rain at times. Today, most areas will start off cool and cloudy with showery outbreaks of rain. The rain will affect most parts throughout much of the day, with occasional heavier... Ken?
Yes.
Hi. Occasional heavier bursts at times. Ken, the maximum temperature will be 18 degrees Celsius. Tonight,
Oh, man, let's put him...
What?
John's back on.
Yep. Be cloudy with further persistent rain again, with occasional heavier bursts at times. Wednesday will rain. Thursday will rain. Friday will probably rain.
We ain't got a lot going for us, have we?
On all of those days, we probably still won't have got your poem.
No.
In the road, they bravely stand.
Every weekday morning.
My show's called The JVS Show, 9 o'clock in the morning on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Jonathan Vernon Smith.
I deal with the consumer problems that affect people all over Beds, Herts and Bucks.
And I said, well, I didn't come all this way to be looking at a broken down hotel.
Those companies, those councils, those organisations that are letting people down.
This guy turned around and said to me that they're not prepared to pay me, and I said, so you're forcing me to take action. And he said, good luck, and put the phone down on me.
I get my teeth into them.
Oh, Jonathan, I'll start crying soon. We don't know what to do.
Deal with them and hopefully get results for you, the consumers.
And it got so convoluted, I thought there's only one person who can sort this out.
The JVS Show on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Just call me Supermanny.
Hey?
Just call me Supermanny.
Why?
Well, April sent an email talking about kids having tablets and watching TV when they're eating their food. Good morning, Iain. You are, of course, right on this one. Since you raised this about a year ago, I went home that day and set a new rule. At dinner time, the TV is off, no tablets, and for us adults, no phones. It's been harder for the boys, but now we have conversations. It's much better. Thanks, Iain.
Iain?
Yes?
Do you check that there's no hairs in the dinner?
Whoa!
Ken, for goodness sakes.
What on earth?
Is Ken co-hosting the show with me this morning?
Well,
It feels like it, doesn't it?
it does a bit, but flipping heck, his input is a little on the blue side, isn't it?
It's a little bit adult, a bit raunchy. Something for the dads. Now, you may remember that trainee doctors were removed from the paediatric unit at Bedford Hospital last July over fears that a child could be harmed. The problems were caused by a lack of senior staff to supervise junior doctors. Well, now Health Education East of England, the body that withdrew the trainees in the first place, says they can now return from August following a successful inspection. Joined now by Dr. Peter Wilkinson, who is part of the inspection team. He's also director of the local GP training scheme. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
Do you know what, Peter? For a second I panicked. My father-in-law is a doctor. He's also called Dr. Peter Wilkinson. And for a second I was worried it was going to be him and he'd tell me off for doing a childish radio show. I'm glad it's not. How can we be sure the inspection got to the bottom of exactly what's wrong?
Well, first of all, I'm confident I'm not your father, so rest reassured on that.
That's a relief.
The inspection was actually carried out by the GMC, General Medical Council, and they reviewed the system in Bedford to ensure that they were confident that we could provide excellent training for our junior doctors and that this was a sustainable process for the future. The East of England Deanery also were present at that review and they also were extremely confident that what we said we could do was indeed the case.
For junior doctors to complain that they felt they worked in, quote, an unsafe way, that's very serious, isn't it?
It's so important that the working environment is one in which junior doctors feel that they can talk freely about their circumstances and that if there are any issues that they have, that the channels of communication are open and that they know that they're going to be heard and that we're going to do something about it. And the current increased resources that have been put in, I believe, are exactly the ones that are required to protect their future. We want junior doctors to enjoy their experience. We need them to stay locally. Many of our current GPs have come through the training programme. We can't tolerate a situation where they are finding that they're getting substandard training. Training has to be excellent, and we believe that it will be exactly that.
Peter, is it resources or is it the attitude that primarily had to be changed? Because we did hear stories of urgent phone calls being to senior doctors being ignored and people's lives being put at risk, didn't we?
As we all know, the two go hand in hand. If you have adequate resources, people have the time and the opportunity to be able to make education a high priority. And I believe that with the extra resources that have gone in, there is now every reason to believe that we're able to provide prompt responses to any concerns that junior doctors have. Education, I think, is a window into the service that we're providing, and the two go together. I think if one is improved, then the other will undoubtedly follow suit.
Peter, what does this mean for the long-term future of the unit, do you think? Do you think it will progress and grow and will be as safe as we all hope it will be?
The long-term future of what, sorry?
Of the unit, the paediatric unit.
Of the paediatric unit. Yes, well, I think that what's been remarkable is how well local people have worked together. Everybody's been involved in this, so parents, families, local politicians, the media, GPs, the clinical community, everyone's been involved and everyone's been pulling in the same direction. That's terrific to see. And there is a healthcare review going on at the moment which will include paediatrics, and we're looking to try to ensure that the local service is as good as it can be and it's accessible locally, that we have the expertise, that we're able to subspecialise within the paediatric department. And I think there are really strong reasons for us to be very positive about the future of the paediatric department.
Dr. Peter Wilkinson, thank you very much for your time. Joined now by Dave Hodgson, the Mayor of Bedford. Dave, we've talked about this so many times. What are your thoughts on the situation now?
Well, of course, it's excellent news that the doctors in training are coming back to Bedford Hospital. But we saw with the independent report looking back several years that this was not an isolated case. And I think the hospital has and needs to have learned lessons about making sure it actually listens to what people say. I'm glad to hear that Peter thinks that we're moving forward, and I believe we are as well. But what we need to do is we need to have the full paediatric service back now, and that's including the inpatients which still hasn't returned to Bedford Hospital.
Do we got any idea when or if that's going to happen?
No, I'm worried because I think I hear a lot of people in the health service say the 23/7 model is acceptable, 23 hours a day. You know, and that still means that if you have to have inpatient for your child, you've got to travel 20 miles to take them to hospital to go and visit them, and for the family to visit them. And I don't think that's acceptable.
Do you think the lessons have been learnt, Dave?
I think so, and from what I see, I think they've been learnt, and I think the hospital is moving forward incredibly. The CQC results show that it's one of the best hospitals in the region in terms of the quality of care. I worry about the reviews. I mean, this next review, remember we looked at a very small but critical case of doctors in training, and we've now got a full review of the hospital that's an eye-watering 3.2 million on top of the aborted and discredited Healthier Together, which adds up to 5.4 million on reviewing what's happening. That could have been spent investing in our hospital, and I think it should have been.
It's a lot of money, isn't it, to be spent on kind of looking at things that you hope would be all right. Dave, let's keep our fingers crossed that this does signal a move in the right direction for Bedford Hospital. It's had a tough 18 months, 2 years. We're still not quite sure where it's going to go. That's Dave Hodgson, the Mayor of Bedford.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Kath totally rocking out to the old jingle there. Are any of you...
beat.
Sorry?
It's got a good beat.
Did you watch that clip I just sent you?
No, it's broken my computer.
Oh, Paul Scoins. I've just retweeted a very funny clip that Paul Scoins has just retweeted. NSF...
Not suitable for work.
W.
Although...
It's very funny.
No, I'm not going to listen to it now in case it pops out of my mic.
It'll pop out of your mic. It's a Sky reporter. So they film packages for Sky.
I'll watch it.
OK, I want to turn your microphone off then, because it might pop out your mic. They film packages for Sky, and then they show them during the show, obviously. And it's the presenter going, well, let's go to our reporter now, who's there. And it's a reporter outside Big Ben doing a report, and Big Ben goes off. Let's just say he's not very zen.
No, he's not, is he?
He gets a little bit sweary.
And to be honest, if you're going to do a report next to Big Ben, check the time.
There are so many clues as to when it's going to make that big noise, aren't there?
Yeah.
The hands.
The massiveness.
The massiveness and the big hands are the things. You got it, Kels?
Good one, apparently.
I just watched it. What a muppet.
Catherine, you watch it. I'll turn your microphone off. Go on, let's get you.
It's fine. You didn't hear me.
I turned your microphone off.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, OK.
So Catherine's microphone is turned off now.
He says it quite quietly. It's fine.
I love things like... But it's her face when it goes back to the studio.
But he's doing his report. He knows he's live and he's on air.
Yeah.
And then as he's talking, Big Ben interrupts.
Yeah.
Well, he's standing outside Big Ben. He must know the time.
Yeah.
And,
you would think.
Bong. And then he swears.
I love a
And
good
then he
bong.
cuts back as if it's Big Ben's fault.
Yeah. Well, in many ways...
It slightly is, but...
In many ways, it is.
It's always Big Ben's fault.
Sorry, Catherine?
Chief political correspondent as well.
Oh, blimey.
Be a good timekeeper.
OK, let's enjoy Catherine as she enjoys this moment live on BBC Three Counties Radio. She's watching a clip on YouTube.
Ken's still there.
Ken, you still there?
Yeah.
Good lad.
Hilarious. He's been there since school. He's been there since about... What time has he been there since?
What time have you been there since, Ken?
7:30.
7, yeah. I'll get up early.
Yeah. Kath?
I'm glad someone's getting to the bottom of it.
Oh, what is wrong with you this morning, Ken?
What?
You got potty mouth.
On a bit now.
Here we are, another World Cup.
Oh, I thought
Roy, don't...
Yeah. OK, right. We're so late for travel. Travel, are you there?
Her name's
I am
Nicola.
indeed.
I know her name's Nicola.
Dear.
We're so late for you, Nicola.
That's all right. It's rather amusing.
And now we're going to be late for Simon. And he's already sent an email that he CC'd me into the boss saying I humiliated him on air with the Nicky Lauder joke.
What joke was that?
It doesn't work like that. Oh, we're so late!
Wait, what's his name?
Louder!
What's his name?
News for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1's looking slow heading southbound between junction 15 for Northampton and junction 14 for Milton Keynes. Also heavy on the M1 between junction 13 at Salford Road and junction 11 Dunstable Road. Taking a look at the M25, heavy anti-clockwise between junction 22 St Albans and junction 16 the M40, and also rather slow between junction 24 Potters Bar and 26 Waltham Abbey. No reported problems on the trains. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yeah, Nicola, let's be funny. We're late for the news now.
Sorry.
Well, just, you know what I mean? It's nearly 8:30. What are we banging on about?
Disaster.
Disaster.
Local and vocal across Beds, Herts and Bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: child arrests fall across the three counties. Farage targets Aylesbury in the general election, and junior doctors returning to Bedford Hospital.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Latest figures show fewer children are being arrested by police in Beds, Herts and Bucks. The biggest reduction in the last 5 years was in the Thames Valley, which covers Buckinghamshire and Milton Keynes, with arrests down by 69%. Francis Crook is from the Howard League for Penal Reform, who compiled the figures.
Police forces like Hertfordshire have put a lot of effort into giving their frontline police officers professional discretion to resolve things. So, for example, if a child is caught shoplifting, much better to take the child back to the shop, make them apologise, promise not to do it again.
David Cameron will join other EU leaders in Brussels today, where they will discuss the success of UKIP and other Eurosceptic parties in the European elections. The Prime Minister says it can't be business as usual. UKIP leader Nigel Farage has named Aylesbury among their general election targets.
We're looking at Aylesbury, we're looking at Rotherham and Eastleigh and parts of Cambridgeshire and many others. These are constituencies in which UKIP has come first in European elections and now has built up a base in local government.
Lloyds Banking Group has announced that a 25% stake in the TSB is to be floated on the stock market next month. Lloyds has to sell its TSB branches to meet European regulations. Junior doctors are to return to Bedford Hospital's paediatric unit from August following a successful inspection. Trainees were withdrawn last July after concerns were raised about a lack of supervision by senior staff. The hospital's chief executive, Stephen Conroy, told this programme the conditional arrangements will be reviewed at regular intervals.
This is the first time that the GMC and Health Education England have ever returned trainee doctors once they've been withdrawn, so that's fantastic news for us. But clearly they're going to be very cautious, and the idea is that they'll give us 4 trainees back in August. They'll carry out a review that's planned anyway in October, and subject to that review, we should get more trainees back following April.
Police are continuing to hunt a prisoner who walked out of an open jail in Buckinghamshire on Sunday evening. 36-year-old Wayne MacLeod absconded from Spring Hill Prison in Grendon Underwood sometime between 5:15 and 8:15. Thames Valley Police believe he may be in the Reading area. The Nigerian military says it knows where Islamist militants are holding more than 200 schoolgirls who were kidnapped last month, but the army said it would be too dangerous to use force to free the teenagers. In sport, Southampton boss Maurizio Pochettino is in advanced talks with Tottenham to become their new manager, and Andy Murray starts his French Open tennis campaign today against Andrei Golubev of Kazakhstan. The weather: cloudy with showers or longer spells of rain, which will be heavy at times. A maximum temperature 15 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of Beds, Herts and Bucks.
It's lovely, all the green, all the horses, and no one tells you off if you walk on their bit of land.
And all this week we're featuring Dunstable.
We had a great celebration this year, which was the 800 years of the foundation of the Priory.
It's all about where you live.
I find it very attractive. Nice place to live.
The big tour of Beds, Herts and Bucks. BBC Three Counties Radio.
And suddenly it's 4 minutes past 8. Sing hosannas, the end. Oh, by the way, I've got to shoot off straight after the show.
Oh, that's a disappointment.
Sorry?
Okay.
No, but why did you say it in that way?
Well, you say it like, oh, I'm going to be withdrawing my attention from you now. Like I should be upset about it.
Well, you should be a little bit disappointed at least.
I'll go over it.
What?
Well, am I still on air?
What? Unbelievable. Lots to talk about this morning. If you want to take part, 08459 455 555. Child arrests are down, dementia care is up, and also, what little tricks have you got for keeping your children in check? Mine are the threat of putting the television in the garage. I've done it before, so he knows it's real. The other one is I pretend to phone his teacher, the eldest one's teacher. Oh, I'm going to get on the phone to Mrs. Jones. Oh, no, don't do that. Hello, is that Mrs. Jones? Yes, my son is being a little... Oh, no, I'll do it, Daddy, I'm sorry. What little tricks have you got for keeping them in check? 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, we're always hearing, aren't we, how kids today, they're little so-and-sos and they don't respect anybody and they have fewer boundaries. Well, if you believe what you read in some of the papers, they're cheekier, they're more aggressive, they're more lawless. Well, one charity is going to burst, or at least attempt to burst, that bubble for you. According to the Howard League for Penal Reform, police are arresting significantly fewer children across the three counties than they were 5 years ago. Some numbers, bear with me, there's not too many. The figures suggest a review of police procedure has led to a 57% fall in the number of 10 to 17-year-olds in Bedfordshire, 69% in the Thames Valley and 67% in Hertfordshire, where David Lloyd is the Police and Crime Commissioner. David joins me now. It says a review of police procedure. What does that mean exactly?
Well, we worked quite hard, Iain. Nice to see you. We worked quite hard with the Howard League just to review what we do with people when they've committed a crime. And, of course, it's not easy because the highest proportion of people who offend are under the age of 24. That's the majority of people who offend, and actually that's the majority of people who are victims as well. So it's not easy. But clearly, the child who steals from the sweet shop, the most proportionate way of making sure that we don't criminalise them, but they know what they do is wrong, is to do it swiftly, to take them back to the shop and say to the shop owner, this is the child, and the child to say sorry. That's the way it should work.
The 21st century equivalent of a clip around the ear.
Exactly that.
I was surprised that 10-year-olds could even be arrested. But so, what? I mean, is it just nicking sweets from shops, or are there more high crimes there? Are there worse crimes?
The very worst crimes are committed by some people under the age of 18, and quite often that's because there isn't the maturity there. Quite often that's because there isn't perhaps the right education in place. So actually, what I'm focusing on is how we get diversionary things in place. So, for example, if you're in South Oxley, Box Clever. They teach children how to box properly, but how to keep themselves fit. If you go to some parts of the county, Fire and Rescue are running a life course, which those who have been arrested or at risk of being arrested go on to find out actually how to work together as a team, how to work better. Putting people into diversionary areas works, and it works well.
So the figure's now 67% down in Hertfordshire. Well done for that. Does that mean less crime is being committed?
Well, that's what I hope. But it also... I mean, one of the huge difficulties we've got, and is played out elsewhere, and I've talked before and will probably talk again about what is crime. In fact, come to my lecture and hear about it in a few weeks' time. But there is this whole issue about is crime recorded the same as the amount of crime? I think it's very difficult to know exactly what crime is because clearly we've got to put on the register somewhere that Mars bar has gone missing if it's been reported, and it is a crime. But I think actually what's more important is how we deal with it, and that the victim is also content, because actually most shopkeepers would also say, I want that restorative justice, I just want them to say sorry and not do it again.
I was going to say, are the shopkeepers happy with this, or do they see this as wimping out?
The whole point about restorative justice, as you might call it, is making sure that it's the victim, first of all, who controls what happens. And actually most shopkeepers in this case would be content to do it that way. It makes a lot more sense. More to the point, I don't want people in 30 years' time to find they can't get a job because they stole a Mars bar 30 years ago. And that, of course, is the problem we've got if we don't end up with proper restorative justice, taking them out of the system. So we put the crime on the record, needs to be done, but we don't then hold it against the person in a way which goes against their name forever.
You've previously said, as a commissioner, you'd like to have powers over youth justice. How would that work?
Well, I think that really what I want to have, I think would be better, would be, if you like, a better power over the whole area of criminal justice. That's really what police and crime commissioners are doing. To an extent, of course, it starts through this end. But if you could see it right the way through the CPS, right the way through to the end, I think you'd be more likely to get these good outcomes.
Good figures. I feel like I should be giving you a rollicking about something, but
I'm sure we'll find a reason to.
You must have something up your sleeve that I can pounce on.
I look forward to coming back to talking about it, as always.
David, very nice to see you again. Thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's got to be a good thing, hasn't it? If the crime figures are down, if they're using different techniques to scare the kid, I guess part of it is a little bit of a fear thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get caught by a copper and dragged back to a shop. It's fearful.
Well, that's the way it should be. Some kids don't feel that way, do they?
We've got an email from Jenny. Iain, you're talking about being arrested. My son, who was 5 at the time, stole some sweets from our local newsagents. When I found him munching on them, I frog-marched him back and made him tell the owner he'd stolen them. He was so upset he's never done it again. He's now 24 and a dad himself and does not allow his son to open or eat anything until he's paid for them. He said what I was in a supermarket, very well-known supermarket the other day. It was Tesco. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah, I'm aware of its work, yeah.
And I was buying some supper. My supper consisted of a big tub of yoghurt and some carrots.
Supper.
And I bought some water. I had some water as well. I was queuing up. The queue was massive, and I was so thirsty. And for the first time ever in my life, I actually had to open the water in the queue.
No, you didn't have to.
I did. I could have passed out.
No, you couldn't.
What's wrong with that?
Sorry?
What's wrong with
You
that?
shouldn't do it.
No.
But aren't you going to pay for it anyway?
Well, yeah, I am, but
you're going to pay for it whether it's in the bottle or your mouth.
Yeah, but it's about self-control. Can you really not wait for 2 more minutes?
Keep your hands off. Kelly, again.
Sorry.
Keep issuing that plea to you. But and I felt really guilty doing it. And that's
touch you here.
That's not so bad, but still, that's infringing of the rights. I have been brought up properly. You don't eat stuff when you see kids in the trolleys with their mums and they're chomping on some animal crackers or something.
I saw an adult once eating a baguette. I mean, that's a long snack.
Wow.
And you've got to walk around with it. You have to put half of it on the end of the checkout. For heaven's sake. Really? It's going to take you 10 minutes to get out of there.
If you walked around in a shop and made yourself a sandwich...
Which you could do if you pay for the ingredients.
Yeah, but if you just got a couple of slices of... Opened some bread, got a couple of slices of bread, and got some cheese...
What would you make?
Well, I'd have a cheese...
You'd have a shop full of ingredients.
All the ingredients you want. It's just like a munchy heaven. Imagine doing that. And I don't think...
salad.
I think that's a legal loophole. I think that they can't do you for that. If you eat it in the shop.
Yeah.
I think. I'm not sure on the actual technicalities.
But you have to put all the empty packets on the thing at the end, don't you? That's the rule.
Oh, and pay for them?
Yeah.
Are you going to pay for them in your world, are you?
But I think that's the world.
I'm just going to chomp on them. Let's do it.
Theft.
They
should weigh you at the end and make you pay.
Well, because you're not allowed... What you're not allowed to do now, and you were in the 70s and the 80s, just have a little grape.
Well, some people still think that's okay.
You know,
I still think
pop a grape in your mouth.
I think it's poor discipline, apart from anything else.
OK, when you go picking strawberries...
Never done it.
What?
Do shopkeepers mind...
when you steal their food? Yeah,
having
they
to
object
swipe
to that.
an empty packet of crisps rather than a pack of crisps.
I suspect they would
think
find
you're a
it...
scumbag, yeah.
They would find it humiliating. Basically, you're kind of just punching them in the face.
No.
I still go back to something. You've never been to pick fresh strawberries?
No, why would I do that?
Sorry?
No, I haven't either.
What? To show your kids where food comes from?
I don't have kids.
I'm talking to the other one now. I'm talking to Kate. To show your kids where...
No, I don't have kids.
Talking to Kate.
Okay.
To show your kids...
But I don't have any.
Where food comes from and what the effort that's put into getting food. And also, it's fun. It's fun.
Can I burst your bubble?
Yeah.
Their granddad's got an allotment.
So what does that mean?
So they know where it comes from. It comes from granddad's allotment.
Does he grow strawberries?
I grow strawberries.
So you pick them?
I've got peas in the garden.
Okay.
Too.
Well, then
I've never gone to a farm and pick someone else's.
So you're basically you're lying. So you pick strawberries.
No, but this... Well,
you pick strawberries.
We get like 2 a year.
You pick strawberries.
No.
You pick strawberries. 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 You pick strawberries.
But I've never picked anyone else's.
08459 455 555. It's the telephone number. It's fun. You go picking strawberries. It's fun, and it's fun when you discover the good patch.
But where were you going with that story?
I've got no idea.
You were going to say, "I'll go to a farmer's field, pick his strawberries, and eat a few."
Yes, I will. I'm happy to steal from farmers.
Then you are a thief.
Thank you very much indeed.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 heading southbound still looking rather slow between junction 15 for Northampton and junction 14 for Milton Keynes. Also heavy on the M1 between junction 12 Flitwick and junction 9 for Redbourne. In Berkhamsted, there's been an accident on the High Street just between Kings Road and Hall Park, so there's causing a few delays in the area there. The M25 heading anti-clockwise, slow moving on the sensors between 22 St Albans and junction 16 the M40. The A1 is looking heavy heading southbound between the Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner, and the A1M slow moving between junction 9 for Letchworth and junction 7 for Stevenage. No reported problems on the trains. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Nicola, have you ever stolen from a farmer?
Yes, I have.
And how does that make you feel as a person?
It was good. It was worth it.
It's 8:16. It's Tuesday, the 27th of May. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Latest figures show fewer children are being arrested by police in the three counties. Arrests are down 69% in the Thames Valley, which covers Buckinghamshire and Milton Keynes. UKIP leader Nigel Farage has named Aylesbury among their general election targets, and junior doctors are to return to Bedford Hospital's paediatric unit from August following a successful inspection.
BBC Three Counties Radio. BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
Even though it's a small town, you've got a lot of things to do in it.
Inviting everyone to where you live.
It's a lovely town, it's got a great history.
And all this week we're featuring Dunstable.
That's part of Dunstable, the Priory Church. It's just full of history and I love it.
We're just by the lovely clock tower in Ashton Square.
It's a very friendly town and the people are excellent.
If you've got a story everyone should hear about, let us tell them about it.
Dunstable, with the right investment, has the potential to be a very, very prosperous town.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks from BBC Three Counties Radio.
Ever stolen anything from a farmer?
What?
Have you ever stolen anything from a farmer?
No.
Good. I have.
What?
Well, only
stolen from a farm.
Only strawberries. I mean, Nicola's doing the travel. She didn't say. The implication was she sold like a car or jewellery or something. I don't quite know what was going on there.
Or a quad bike.
A quad bike. They do love their quad bikes, those farmers, don't they? Just strawberries.
No, right.
When you go, you've been strawberry picking, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Fun, isn't it?
Oh, it's great fun.
But you have a little...
Well, yeah.
So you have stolen from a farmer?
Yeah, although I wouldn't actively eat them without washing them, because I do wonder about what might be on them.
Who washes fruit and vegetables? Lightweight. Why would you do that?
Well, because you can get all kinds of diseases from tomatoes. I told my father off about that the other day.
What disease can you get from a tomato?
You can die from eating a tomato if it's not washed. Seriously, you could
die of
what? You could get salmonella from tomatoes.
You can get what?
Salmonella.
08459 455 555. Have you died from eating a tomato? Call me now.
Yeah. No, you can. You can get very ill from eating unwashed fruit and vegetables. And a lot of...
What was that, Catherine?
No calls, I'm afraid.
No calls on
It must be true.
It is true, Catherine. Yeah.
Do you never... I bet you're one of those people that peels carrots as well.
Well...
Take them out the ground, bang them on your leg...
Oh, that's disgusting.
It's not disgusting.
Do you know what they grow carrots in?
The ground.
Feces.
I thought it was soil.
And feces.
Well, if it don't kill you, it'll make you stronger. What's on your show this morning?
Coming up on the big phone in this morning from 9... Are you pleased with the results of the European election? This morning, party leaders will meet in Brussels to discuss their response to the UK Independence Party's victory at the European elections. It was Mammothian, wasn't it?
Yes. Mammoth.
Well, I've already spoken to the UKIP leader Nigel Farage this morning to find out how he plans to take the party forward after their European success. Meanwhile, Labour leader Ed Miliband is in neighbouring county of Essex today, where he's due to give a speech about rebuilding trust in politics.
Oh, dear.
The Lib Dems, they're responding to calls from inside the party that Nick Clegg should resign as leader. The success of the UK Independence Party has certainly raised questions that the other party leaders need to answer. Well, from 9 this morning, I want your reaction to the European election results. It is pretty historic, really. First time a political party other than Labour or the Conservatives have won an election across the UK.
Yep.
Do you know that? In 100 years. Quite remarkable. Well, from 9 this morning, your calls on 08459 455 555. Are you pleased with the results of the European election? Or perhaps, like some people I've spoken to this weekend, you are absolutely horrified. And one lady I spoke to at the weekend, horrified at the British people. What on earth's wrong with them, she said to me. What on earth is wrong with people?
It's democracy.
Voting for UKIP, she said. What's wrong with them?
It's democracy. You don't always like it, but that's democracy. You know, the result might go your way, it might not go your way. It's democracy.
Well, from 9 this morning, I'd like your reaction, please. Are you pleased with the results of the European election? 08459 455 555.
Stay there, because Iain is in Northampton. Good morning, Iain.
Good morning, Iain.
You're here to back me up on this nonsense that Jonathan Vernon Smith thinks you can die from a tomato.
No, I'm here to back Jonathan up.
Yeah.
What?
Absolutely, he's absolutely right. A friend of mine got poisoned by French beans a few years ago.
Oh, those French beans. See, that's why UKIP have done so well.
Those dirty French beans coming over here and poison. Well, how did he get poisoned by French beans?
Well, they weren't washed, and he ended up in hospital, and they did various tests, and they said he'd been poisoned by them because they hadn't been washed.
Had he eaten?
Always wash French beans.
Had he eaten anything else, like prawns or something?
No, they tested everything that he'd eaten.
Okay,
and they put it down
it's such a bad line that I don't think we can take that caller's point as being valid.
Do you know what they grow French beans in?
The earth.
Feces.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Dear me. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. A retirement home in Bedford has come up with a unique way of helping residents with dementia. Communal areas at Dame Alice Court have been transformed into themed areas, and the hairdressers has a 1950s look to help tenants remind them of their past. The work was funded by the government at a cost of £140,000. Joined now by Linda Barnes from the Alzheimer's Society. Is this technique kind of quite well known, Linda?
I think it's becoming more well known, I think, and also the money from the government has helped push this initiative forward. So I know that there are others looking at it, and Reminiscence, as we know it as, is a good tool for helping us to engage with people with dementia and, you know, for their memories and everything else. So it's a good way to, you know, to help them.
Does it need to be as all-encompassing as having a 1950s themed hairdresser, or can people kind of do these things at home?
Oh, no, you can easily do them at home through pictures, stories, videos, anything like that, really. I suppose it's about understanding the person with dementia and what their interests were, what they might have done when they were younger, and you can use any sort of tool, really, to help them. I know of museums that have reminiscent boxes that might have, like, you know, soaps from a certain era, and the smells and the aromas can engage with people and help them, you know, recall information, you know, as well.
Isn't it funny how, you know, you can sit there and tell someone something and it won't register, but if you show them a picture or they smell something or they hear a certain piece of music, it just seems to join the dots, doesn't it?
Well, it does, and it's also, I suppose, where they've got to in their stage with dementia, as we know that, you know, often, you know, the most recent things are the things that we forget most, and then we go back, I always say go back in time. It's like a reversal, I think. You learn things as you grow up, and then all of a sudden it feels like you're going back on a reversal, and it's those things that people are able to recall that are in that part of their memory, and, you know, music is one of the things that we know people can engage with, and they can enjoy still things like that together.
Does the Alzheimer's Society kind of do things like this?
Yes, we use it. We use it in our services quite a lot. So we haven't maybe gone to the point of designing things like, shops and hairdressers. But I do know in Berkshire that we have what's known as REM pods.
A REM pod?
Yeah, so it's called like a REM pod, and it stands for a reminiscence pod.
Oh.
And what it is, you can say that there are different themes, like the hairdressers, like the pub lounge, like the shop, and they're portable, so you can make a room look like it. So behind all that is the normal everyday things, like, so you'd have your normal flat screen TV, and then we can cover it over, and it makes it look like a TV from the 50s, 60s or 70s sort of thing. So, yeah.
Isn't that interesting? I suppose the problem with this is you're going to need to update it every 10 years or so, aren't you?
Well, you will have to think about that as the population changes and, because we're all used to different things. Like, you think you've got the iPhone, iPod and Twitter, Facebook here and now, so how are you going to do that for people to reminisce with? So those are the things we continually have to think about as we move forward.
Oh, gosh, in about another 40 years' time, if heaven forfend, I get something like this, I'm going to be surrounded by Rubik's Cubes and Human League posters and things.
All those sort of things.
Terrible. Linda, listen, I wish you the very best of luck. Keep up doing the good work, and it sounds like this is a cracking idea. That's Linda Barnes from the Alzheimer's Society. You can share your stories on that. 08459 455 555. We're also talking about, there's a reduction in child crime. 10 to 17-year-olds are being arrested less. This is Helen, sorry, talking about we're going around a supermarket eating food. I worked in a major supermarket. We had a customer who every week would pick up a bunch of grapes, eat them on the way round the store, and then present the stalks at the checkout. The next time he came to my till, I called a manager to select a similar-sized bunch, asked the customer if he thought that was the approximate size, weighed them, and charged him for them. He stopped eating grapes on the way round the store after that. Why would you even think that was acceptable?
What, weighing the grapes?
No.
Eating them.
You don't get scales anymore.
Yes, you do.
No.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
You do.
Where?
Next to the fruit and veg.
No.
They're electronic.
No.
Yes, you do.
You don't.
Fact.
Incorrect fact.
It happens.
It doesn't happen.
It happens.
No, it doesn't. Because I don't remember it.
Ian, next time you go, just have a little look.
Yes, Catherine. Yeah.
Have a little look.
I'll have a little look.
You'll see something shiny and metallic.
Yeah, is it that?
No, they're your fingers. You'll see something shiny and metallic that people are putting their fruit onto in little bags.
That's called a shopping basket.
Then a sticker pops out.
No, it doesn't.
Then you put your sticker
The sticker doesn't pop out. You don't put your own stickers on.
It's the thing that keeps my kids going round the supermarket. They do the weighing.
Let me speak to the sensible one. Kelly?
Hello?
Kelly?
Yep.
Can you get Justin up? I need to have a word with him.
Sure. What now?
Yeah.
Watching GMTV.
Sorry?
Doesn't Chris Tarrant look like a pillow?
Whoa! Hang on a second. You can't libel one of Britain's greatest entertainers.
I'm looking at him. He looks like a pillow.
OK, well, I've got no idea what was going on there. They don't have the scales in the supermarkets anymore. They used to have them. They don't have them anymore.
Yeah,
they don't. Catherine, they don't.
They do. They actually do.
They actually don't.
They really do.
No, they don't.
They have.
They haven't got them because no one weighs their food.
If someone's in a supermarket now, can you take a picture and send
everything is pre-packed to a certain weight, or you know what it looks like, what you want it to be. You know what it looks like, what you want it to be.
Saying it over and over doesn't make it true.
Who's this on the phone?
Lee.
Hello. Well, yeah, go on, Lee. What do you want to say?
You do get scales in supermarkets.
See?
What are you talking about?
Where?
Do you want me to name them?
Yes, I do, actually.
Well, Sainsbury's, Asda.
No.
I went in there the other day.
But you don't, mate.
You do. I went in there.
Mate, you don't. I don't know why you've called up to lie. Are you related to Catherine Boyle in some way?
No, not at all.
Yeah, OK. And do you ever use them?
Yeah, I do. I use them on Sunday.
Why would you weigh things? You know what you want it to be by the way what it looks like.
What? You know how much it costs?
Who cares what it costs? You know, I need this amount of grapes. I need this amount of broccoli.
Some of us have to money here, not like you, mate.
Well, you're buying my broccoli, and it's much appreciated, Lee. 08459 455 555. Look, there are 3 more phone calls coming in. They are all agreeing with me.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Slow moving on the M1 heading southbound on the speed sensors between junction 13 for Bedford and junction 12 for Flitwick. Also heavy on the M1 between junction 12 for Flitwick and 9 at Redbourne. The A1M's looking rather slow as well between junction 9 at Letchworth and junction 7 for Stevenage. And in Berkhamsted there's been an accident at the moment on the High Street. That's between Kings Road and Hall Park, so some delays there in the area. The M25 in both directions rather slow moving between junction 24 for Potters Bar and 26 for Waltham Abbey. And taking a look at the A1, that's looking slow heading southbound between the Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner. No reported problems on the trains. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Nicola Richards, farm thief. What did you steal? Jewellery, rings, cash?
Courgettes.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30. I'm Simon Oxley. UKIP leader Nigel Farage has named Aylesbury among their general election targets. David Cameron has been pressing his case for far-reaching reforms to the European Union in a series of phone calls to EU leaders. He'll join other heads of government in Brussels today. Latest figures show fewer children are being arrested by police in the three counties. Arrests are down 69% in the Thames Valley, which covers Buckinghamshire and Milton Keynes. And junior doctors are to return to Bedford Hospital's paediatric unit from August, following a successful inspection.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Tottenham are in advanced talks with the Southampton manager Maurizio Pochettino to take over at White Hart Lane. The Argentinian would become Spurs' 9th manager in 13 seasons. BBC pundit Mark Lawrenson believes he should consider that short-term ethos.
Pochettino's leaving a club like Southampton, who probably until they got rid of Cortese, actually were a team and a club thinking of 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years down the road. And I just don't see that with Tottenham.
Fleetwood won the League Two playoff final, beating Burton 1-0 at Wembley, and Wycombe striker Stephen Craig has signed a new one-year contract. The 33-year-old joined Wanderers last summer. In tennis, there was a major shock at the French Open with third seed and Australian Open champion Stan Wawrinka losing in 4 sets to Spain's Guillermo Garcia Lopez. Andy Murray starts today against Andrei Golubev of Kazakhstan. More from Russell Fuller.
Poor in Madrid, but much improved in Rome, and with 5 Davis Cup clay court matches already under his belt, optimism of another strong Grand Slam showing is rising. Murray told me he hasn't studied his draw this year, so he won't know that his Davis Cup nemesis Fabio Fognini, rather than Wawrinka, is now the highest seed in his quarter. Murray will have to take care, though, against the world number 53 Andrei Golubev, as he's already beaten Wawrinka in Davis Cup this year. But the cream normally rises to the top over 5 sets, and Murray should run out a comfortable winner.
And Mercedes boss Niki Lauda says he will talk to Lewis Hamilton before the next race in Canada to smooth over the tense situation within the team. The Hertfordshire driver accused teammate Nico Rosberg of deliberately going off the Monaco track to stop him challenging for pole in Saturday's qualifying session, with Rosberg then going on to win Sunday's race. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 9.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Ken?
What? Hello?
Ken?
Yes?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. Anne's in Bushy. Good morning, Anne.
Good morning, Ian.
They do not have scales in supermarkets anymore. They are long gone. They're consigned to the history bin, to the memory banks.
You are a huge fibber.
Sorry?
Last year, I retired after 28 years.
You must be tired.
Don't be rotten now, stop it. After 28 years in one of the supermarkets. And I still use one of the supermarkets, and they have scales in there. And like Catherine said, you get the little white ticket that comes out to stick on your shopping.
Why would you do that? Why don't you just go and scale it, let them weigh it at the counter?
No.
Yes.
If you forget...
Forget what?
If you forget to weigh them yourself, you go when you go to the counter, then they weigh... No, now don't interrupt. You keep doing this all the time, Ian.
And I have to interrupt because you're talking utter guff.
No, I'm not.
Are you going... Sorry, when you go to your...
As eating things going around the shop,
yes.
I worked on checkouts, right?
Yes.
And when the customer used to come by and she'd give you a banana skin, empty banana skin...
Yeah.
No more bananas, just one banana.
No skin,
away.
no bananas, just skin,
So
yes.
I used to say to one of my colleagues, could you go back and get me the biggest banana you can find?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You like a big one?
And you used to wear that,
Steady.
and it used to cost her more than the one she just eaten.
Yes.
If you... Right, can I name the shop then?
Well, are you going to be rude about them?
No.
Well, I suppose you
If
can.
you go to Sainsbury's over the Dome, right opposite Asda, you will weigh your own fruit and
so
veg there.
to get to this Sainsbury's, do you have to get into your time machine and go back to 1973? No one has to weigh their food anymore and print up their own price tags.
Of course they do. You don't even go shopping anymore.
No,
so
I get the butler to do it, but still, Anne, he never tells me about the... Of course I go shopping.
You ask Jonathan. Jonathan is the one that knows about shopping. You ask Jonathan.
Well, Jonathan thinks you can die from a tomato poison.
Oh, no, that frightened me this morning because it's one of my favourite fruits. Now you contradict me if tomatoes not fruit.
Can we just sort this thing out once and for all, okay?
Yes,
now,
dear,
we all know that a tomato's a fruit, right? We all know it's a fruit.
Yeah.
Can't we just call it a vegetable? You don't have it in the fruit bowl. You put it in salad. Let's call it... Can't we just change the definition and call it a vegetable?
No, you can't keep changing just because you want to change
No, we're not going to keep changing. We're going to change it once, and we're going to put it in the vegetable so that some smart Alec will go, well, actually, it's not a vegetable, it's a fruit. Oh, get lost, it's a vegetable. We changed it in 2014, you sucker. I said sucker, Anne, before you start phoning up to complain.
Anyhow, you take care.
Thank you very much, Anne. Ken?
What?
It makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you're supposed to wash your tomatoes.
Reclassify it as a vegetable.
Eh?
Reclassify it as a vegetable.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you very much indeed, Ken. Dave Luton's on the line.
Good morning, boss.
Good morning, Dave.
Why do you rant and rave at our lovely Kelly and Catherine?
You mean Kate?
Catherine, pal.
Oh, I got a message from Jonathan Vernon Smith. I don't know where... He's just messaged me, I keep my tomatoes in the fruit bowl.
Of course he does.
No, let's just reclassify them as veg... I can't believe, of all the stuff... We've talked about dementia, we've talked about kids committing crime, people are phoning in to talk about dying from tomatoes and scales. This is what it's come down to.
You forgot the French bean poisoning incident.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
Scales.
Yes, Dave.
Going to Tesco, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, you'll see the scales hanging up there that you can weigh your potatoes, your bananas.
Why would you want to weigh your potatoes?
Why? Because they come in single. If you don't want a bag of potatoes, you can weigh them.
When I cook potatoes,
yeah,
right, I know how many potatoes I want to eat by the number of potatoes, my eyes looking at them, and my belly. Right? I don't think. Do you know? I really fancy eating 5 kilograms of potatoes today, so I'm going to get 5 kilograms of potatoes and weigh them. Oh no, there's 6 kilograms. Put one of those kilograms of potatoes back because I go, oh, that looks about right. I'll have that.
Do you never follow a recipe?
A what?
A recipe where it'll say how many of something you want.
Not with potatoes, no.
Well, why?
What can you cook with potatoes?
Can't go freehand with a potato.
Jacket potatoes, roast potatoes, boiled potatoes, potato salad. That's your 4 potato meals.
Okay. What about your rosti?
Don't eat none of that foreign muck.
But the case is, Ian.
Yes, Dave.
When you weigh your items, you're just seeing what the price is, don't you?
Well,
you're not just weighing.
All right, so you're following one of these so-called recipes, and you're going to go, oh, it says I need 5 kilograms of potatoes in this recipe, but I can't afford it, so I'm going to only get 3. Well, then the recipe's ruined.
Excuse me. No, you weigh them to see how much the price of those potatoes or bananas are, don't you?
What on earth? What meal has got potatoes and bananas in, you sick deviant?
Oh, no. Excuse me, don't let me have to come down there, pal, you know what I mean?
I'll come up there. I'll meet you halfway. How's that sound?
OK, then.
Good lad, thank you very much. Ken?
Fight, come on.
Thank you very much. Sheila?
Good morning.
Good morning, Sheila. At last, a sensible voice in this discussion, someone who no doubt will support reason and indeed rhyme. Don't do it as a poem, that would be uncomfortable.
Do I...
Do.
I assume...
Yes.
That when you go shopping... You only see things that are in a packet.
Well,
and
Sheila,
not loose.
can I say,
loose
assume makes an ass out of you and me.
if you want to buy 1.5 kilos of new potatoes or whatever, they are loose and they have to be weighed, and they have little weighing machines.
No. Well, we call them scales, Sheila.
If you go to a place that begins with W, there are other supermarkets.
W.H. Smith's?
Waitrose.
Okay, yeah.
Then you can turn round and there are scales, and you put it on, you weigh it, and you get your little sticker.
No. You're wrong.
I'm afraid to say...
Don't be afraid.
I am right. And this happens today in this modern world.
No, Sheila, it doesn't. Well, I don't know if you've noticed, when you go up to the till, right, the till is weight...
I don't expect that you've even noticed that you can go and work out your own shopping as you go round and zap it.
No, I don't like that. That's not what I'm going to the shopping experience for. Why would I want to work out how much it costs? I look at the prices...
No, you don't work out. It's already totted up, so by the time you get to the till, you're through.
At the very, very most, I will use those do-it-yourself tills, although it constantly breaks down and I have to get a young man to come and give me a hand.
No. These are not do-it-yourself tills. These are where you get your little zapper as you walk in.
Why?
And then you just look at the item, you press it towards the item, and it just takes it in.
And then Sheila gets into her metal box and drives to her home and shuts her door and has no conversation with anybody. Sheila is a robot. We're losing the art of talking to people and having eye contact, Sheila.
Well, I think sometimes the art of conversation, where you're always telling us we're wrong when we're actually right.
Yeah.
Is probably why we don't talk anymore.
Hang on, I'm the reason that you don't talk to people in supermarkets.
No.
That's libel.
Is it? Well, isn't it?
It's libel in the Bible.
Isn't it libel when you turn around and tell people they're wrong or call them silly names?
Not when it's fact, Sheila. Isn't that right, Ken?
Yes, right.
Thank you very much indeed. Colin's in Dunstable.
Good morning.
Good morning, Colin.
Sorry, mate.
Don't apologise for being in Dunstable.
No, I'm not apologising for being in Dunstable.
Hang on a second. Ken?
What?
Can you say your name is Colin in Dunstable?
My name's Colin in Dunstable.
Are you holding your nose when you do that?
Yeah.
OK. Colin?
Yeah?
Can you say my name's... Hang on, who's that?
This is Colin in Dunstable.
No, I want to speak to the real Colin in Dunstable, not Ken pretending to be Colin in Dunstable.
I am the real Colin in Dunstable.
No, you're not. I am.
No, Ken.
No, Colin.
How are you, mate?
I'm all right. Wash your tomatoes in case you get hairs on them.
I'm so confused.
Yeah.
I'm so confused. My screen has gone blank. I don't know who's which. So who's Colin in Dunstable?
Me.
Well, hang on. Line 1 said it first. Who said it first?
Me.
Right, OK, so Colin.
Yes.
No, not fake Ken, not you. I'm talking to the real Colin.
I'm Colin.
I know, I'm talking to you.
You told me to.
Yeah, I'm talking to you, Colin.
Dear.
Ken, keep quiet. I'm talking to Colin. Colin?
Yes?
No, not you. They're talking to Colin.
Oh, yes, me.
Yeah, Colin. They've both gone now.
He goes back on Monday.
Who does?
You do.
Where?
Funny Farm.
Right, Colin.
I'm losing the will to live.
Yeah, me too, to be honest.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
I've got a vexed text.
You got a what?
I've got a vexed text.
Oh, go on. Who's got some
vexed?
vexes?
Tommy Milton Keynes. That Nicky Lauder joke's about 30 years old, says Tom.
Which
joke?
Which joke? The joke about who?
Nicky.
Nicky who?
Nicky Lauder?
It is about 30 years old, but it's still funny,
What
man.
joke, though?
You can't set it up like that.
What?
Let's do it properly.
Okay.
What's his name?
Who?
Nicky Lauder's.
Nicky Lauder's who?
No, that's wrong.
Come in.
You're doing it wrong.
No, you've got to start with knock knock.
Who's there?
Nicky.
Nicky who?
Nicky Lauder.
Nicky who?
It doesn't work because you can't say the first. You got. Who's there?
Interrupting cow.
No, it's you've got to.
Moo.
Okay, I know what you're saying. Let's do it.
Okay.
What's his name?
Nicky Lauder.
Oh.
No, then you say Nicky who?
No, because
because the punchline has to be
Nicky who?
louder.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's his name?
Moo.
What's his name?
Who?
Nicky's.
So I was reading about racing car driving in the 1970s and the 1980s at the
When? I
weekend.
didn't see you reading.
Shush.
Anything.
And one of my heroes from that was a racing gentleman whose name was Nicky Lauder.
Nicky who?
Lauder.
Nikki who?
That doesn't feel right.
No, feels very wrong. It's about 30 years old, that joke.
Yeah, I don't know why are we telling that.
Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, sorry about that, Tom. I do apologise. Should we have a quick look at the front pages, although I don't feel motivated to do such a thing anymore. Isn't it funny? We put out some really good stuff to talk about.
Nobody rang in about my singers who don't sing like you think that they would sing.
And also the good stuff that we put out to talk about. They call in to lie about the number of weighers.
Ken?
Yes?
What are you doing?
Why does it sound... Pick up your phone and stop being on speakerphone, you plum.
He's using the speakerphone to listen to the radio.
Right, Ken.
No, I'm not.
Have you fallen down a metallic hole?
No, I'm waiting to finish my poem.
Well, I can't finish. It's a terrible phone line.
Oh, all right then.
Take us off speakerphone, Ken.
What do you mean? Take it off?
Oh, for
All right,
goodness
really?
That's what we're dealing
Sounds
with.
like he's in space.
Now, I'm dubious of going to Nicola for the travel.
Why?
Well, the whole have you stolen from a farmer thing, it was supposed to be a little bit of fun, a little bit of bants, just a bit of joshing. Obviously I don't condone stealing from farmers unless they really, really deserve it.
No.
And I was talking about, I stole a couple of strawberries. I mean, oh, great, arrest me. Ooh, David
Did they
Lloyd
taste bitter?
The
guilt.
They tasted of tears and faeces, strangely enough. But Nicola's, she actually stole a load of courgettes.
What?
She stole a load of courgettes. A load of courgettes.
That's about the most middle-class thing you can steal, isn't it?
I'm just worried if we go back to her now for the travel, a lot of young people are off on their half-term this week. I didn't know it was half-term. Found out the hard way.
What, the kids still being there?
The kids are at home. There are a lot of kids listen to this show. They look at me as being a fun kind of funky guy. I'm their inspiration. They're going to listen to Nick and go, "Oh, let's go and steal some courgettes."
Let's rein it back then. Core theft is not cool.
Yeah. What?
Core theft. It's the theft of courgettes.
So are you saying that you think her travel news would be untrustworthy?
Well, I'm just saying. Could you trust someone who'd stolen courgettes from a farmer?
Probably.
Yeah, she's from Luton. I couldn't.
No, I certainly couldn't. So with that in mind, bearing in mind that 66%, two-thirds of this team don't trust Nicola, the travel girl, let's get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. The M1 heading southbound, very slow moving between junction 15 for Northampton and junction 14 at Milton Keynes. In Dunstable, there's traffic lights aren't working at the moment on Luton Road at Boscombe Road Gyratory, so it's causing delays in the area there. Taking a look at the M25 heading clockwise, very heavy between 24 Potters Bar and junction 25 for Enfield. The M40 is looking very heavy on the sensors London bound between junction 7 for Tame, junction 4 for the Handy Cross roundabout. So far, the A1M slow moving between junction 9 for Letchworth and junction 7 for Stevenage. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Nicola, thank you very much. Apologies to anyone who was offended by the bad language in that travel report there. It's 8:47. It's Tuesday, the 27th of May. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. UKIP leader Nigel Farage has named Aylesbury among their general election targets after their success in the European elections. Latest figures show fewer children are being arrested by police in the three counties. Arrests are down 69% in the Thames Valley, which covers Buckinghamshire and Milton Keynes. And junior doctors are to return to Bedford Hospital's paediatric unit from August following a successful inspection. This is BBC Three Counties Radio. Let's get the latest weather now. Here's Ken.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Shall I do it? Ken?
What?
Do you want to do the weather with me? Yeah. Okay. So it's cool and cloudy with heavy what at times?
Rain?
Yeah, well done. Most areas will start off cool and cloudy with showery outbreaks of...
Rain?
Yeah. This will affect most parts throughout much of the day with occasional heavier bursts at...
Rain?
No. Maximum temperature of 18 what?
18 degrees?
Celsius. Tonight it will be cloudy with further...
Rain?
Yep. And heavier bursts at times. It will also be misty over the Chilterns. If we look at Wednesday...
How do you know that?
Oh, hello.
Oh, for goodness sakes. It's going to be wet.
Every weekday from 12, Nick Coffer brings you...
Why did Wet 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 break up? You know, it surprised me that it lasted so long, but I think there's always going to be something that trips you up.
Great guests.
And Milton Keynes Charity is celebrating its 5th anniversary after changing many young people's lives.
Great music.
This is the Drifters kissing in the back row of the movies. Hello to Adam, who has messaged me, so I'm playing some great tunes today.
Great conversations.
I'm in the library in Houghton Regis as part of our big tour.
A lot of Houghton Regis was mainly 18th, 19th century. There was a big fire in the 1600s which burnt the village out.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Tony Fisher, who works here, and I only found out last week that he's a reporter here, has just tweeted a racing gentleman, tomatoes, deaf footballers, and Ken, #award-winning. And do you know what? I think he could be right. I think he could be right. 08459 455 555 is the phone number. Ken is in Luton. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning.
And Justin Dealey is... Well, where are you, Just?
In Luton.
Hey!
Hey, good morning, boss.
Good morning to you. It's been an odd show today, Just.
It has, hasn't it? Yeah.
We've thrown out... Am I speaking to Ken or Justin?
JD.
Oh, I'm Ken in Luton.
Yeah, Ken in Luton.
Right, OK, we're going to play a game, OK? Ken?
What?
You're going to say, I'm Ken in Luton.
I'm Colin in Dunstable.
OK, then I'm going to say I'm Ken in Luton. And then Justin's going to say he's Ken in Luton. And the listeners have to call in and guess who's the real Ken in Luton, OK?
Oh, yes.
Right, you go first. I'm Ken in Luton. Right, Ken in Luton number 2, away you go.
Colin in Dunstable.
No, you've muffed it up.
OK.
Justin.
I'm Ken in Luton.
Who is the real Ken? Was it 1, 2 or 3? 08459 455 555. Now, this kids watching TV and playing on phones and things when they're having their tea.
Yeah, you don't like it?
I don't like it. Really, I think it's bad parenting.
Absolutely. Well, we had a classic quote earlier on from one man who said, well, I've got 2 children and I let my 2 children watch the television during dinner time. He says, well, it's fine because they can watch the TV in between mouthfuls. Oh. What a quote that was.
Flip it. I think it's shocking, to be honest. And it sounds like... sometimes I exaggerate things. I'm not on this. It genuinely breaks my heart that you don't sit down with your kids, say, right, so what did you do at school today? Yeah? Well, my boys ask me what I did at work.
Yeah?
You know, I explain to them what I did. They tell me they tell me who they played with. They tell me what pictures they've drawn. They do all that kind of stuff.
It's weird. Iain, at the end of this package coming up here, we have something quite interesting. We have 2 parents with 2 different viewpoints, but the survey out today says that almost 9 out of 10 children aged 6 to 10, they're using TVs, iPads, mobile phones, computers, video games and radios during dinner. So I've been getting reaction from parents and grandparents. Here's what they had to say. Carol, you're here with your granddaughter this morning. Would you allow your granddaughter to watch TV, play video games, play on an iPad during dinner time?
She can watch TV, but she's not playing on iPad or video games. The TV is generally on, yes.
Yeah. Why don't you turn it off?
Because I only live in a small place and there's no room for a table and chairs or anything, so we have to sit with it on our laps. So she has it, we have the TV on.
I mean, if you had a dinner table, would you then turn the TV on?
Probably, yes. Yeah. Or have her sitting with her back to it.
Because Ian's got this view this morning that if you're a parent, or a grandparent essentially, if you're letting your child that you're with watch TV during dinner time, you're a bad parent or a bad grandparent. What would you say to that?
No, I don't agree. We still chat, so we don't need to sit at the table and chat. We chat all the time. And she's at school all day, so, you know, that's her only bit of leisure time, really, because she leaves me at 6:30 and she's home in bed by 7.
And you can still have a conversation?
Oh, yeah.
Even though you're watching TV?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Michelle, children eating their dinner, watching TV, how do you see that? Is that wrong?
I believe that to be wrong. They need to eat their dinner and not pay attention to what's going on TV. It was the way I was brought up. We weren't even allowed to have drinks before we finished our dinner, so I don't think it's right for children to be eating dinner and watching TV at the same time.
Lisa, you've got 2 children, correct? OK. Do you allow your children to watch TV during dinner time?
No, he does, I don't.
Right, so we've got a debate here between the pair of you. So you don't. Tell us why you don't believe it's right.
Because they don't eat their dinner. They don't eat dinner, they don't talk to their parents. Yeah.
OK, now you think it is OK. Why do you think it is OK?
It's educational. It's educational for the kids to watch telly, news.
So that they're never watching things like cartoons and soaps and things like that?
All the time. Home and Away, stuff like that, Neighbours.
How can Home and Away and Neighbours be educational?
Oh, well, to them it's different for kids. They understand it better.
What, Australian culture?
Oh, they do. Australian culture's different to ours. Cartoons, they watch them all the time.
Oh, Justin!
There you go, boss.
You, wow, you've peaked. You've got the rest of the week off, mate. You won't beat that. Home and Away and Neighbours are educational?
Australian culture, because the kids, they get it better than us, and they should be watching those soaps during dinner time.
Flippin' heck.
Wow.
I'm speechless by that.
I had to wait a while to get that, but most parents this morning said to me, yeah, of course, and then suddenly, okay, can we have a quick conversation? Or Mike, no, I'm not doing that. I mean, the majority of parents I've spoken to this morning do allow their children to sit down and have dinner and watch TV.
You know why they don't want to talk? Because they know they're wrong.
And they can't string a sentence together for more than 30 seconds because they've lost the power of talking to a real person.
And as for this chat, we talk while the telly's on. Yeah, it's all, what's he been in?
Yeah.
Oh, that's thingy from...
We've got that tea towel. Go and get it. We've got that one.
Hey,
rewind it. I've missed it now. You've been talking.
Catherine, okay, your children, they need to know about Australian culture this evening, okay? Forget this ban on TV. Let them watch Home and Away during dinner time and just watch your children learn and grow as people.
You haven't got kids, have you, Just?
No.
Thanks very much indeed. We're talking about we're going to reclassify, and we can do this. Can be a campaign, and we can make this happen with the BBC. We're going to bring some sense back. I'm going to put the sense back into sense.
That reminds me, John from Bedford rang to say you were being very silly this morning. He wants you off.
Oh, and someone else rang and said, "Get this clown off the radio." I assume they meant you.
Two things.
Okay.
You didn't need to mention that on air, and you didn't need to mention it to me.
Oh.
But thanks anyway. We're going to sort out the classification. I'm going to put the class back into classification of fruit and vegetables.
The what? The what?
It would work in your accent. I'm going to put the class in classification of fruit and vegetables, kid. What's a vegetable? I don't know. I just saw it on Home and Away.
Yeah, chew on your Greg's dummy and shut up.
We're going to put the class back into classification of fruit and vegetables, OK?
Right.
So, tomato, no longer a fruit, it's a vegetable.
Why?
Because you have it in a salad.
Potato.
What's a vegetable?
Do you want to keep it a vegetable?
Yeah, don't need to go through all of them. It's just the silly ones.
All right.
And Len has sent in a stroppy text. Well, I'll sort Len out straight away. Ian, you can't reclassify a banana from a fruit to a vegetable as it's a herb.
Yeah,
right.
True.
Well, OK. I don't want to reclassify it from a fruit to a vegetable because it's a fruit and it's not a herb, it's a banana. When has anyone have been cooking something spicy and gone, have we got any banana I can sprinkle on this? It don't unless it's a banoffee pie, it don't happen. So it's a banana.
Is that one word?
What?
Don't happen.
One at a time. Kelly.
Don't happen.
Banana.
I'm confused as to... Ken?
Hey.
What do you want? Why are you still on the phone, Ken? Who's paying for this bill?
Oh, he's been on since 7:30.
Ken, why is your phone sounding all echoey? Pick it up.
Stop messing about.
OK, what do you want?
Are you supposed to wash bananas?
No, because you don't wash bananas.
My wife's give me a banana and she ain't washed it.
You're not supposed to wash a banana.
What, before I eat it?
No, because it's in a skin.
Oh, so's a tomato.
Well, yeah, but you eat the tomato skin.
Well, if you wash it with tomato...
Why does his phone sound so absolutely bobbins? I do apologise. Yesterday's show, very, very poor. Today's show, not really raised the standard too much. We'll sort out this reclassification of fruit and vegetables later on in the week. That's going to be a goer.
Don't worry about it.
No,
you're putting the class into what?
I'm putting the class into classification.
Ah.
It's funny when people speak properly, isn't it? You've never heard it. What are you going to put, Kelly? You're going to put the... Oh, for goodness sakes! Don't.
So when's someone going to come on and speak properly?
It's me.
Oh, is that you doing it then?
I'll do it. I'll speak proppers. What do you want me to say?
Who are those Muppets that said they wanted this clown off?
I don't know.
Let's call them Steve and Mark.
Tim's also saying it now.
Well, what's Tim? Who's Tim? Tim who works here on Jonathan's show?
Yeah, he hates you.
That's so rude.
I know.
How rude!
He really hates you.
But I'm looking down the list of things that Tim sent, and he's generally quite angry about everything he listens to.
Well, Nick says, I've never laughed as much along to your show as today. His interaction with callers and JVS about scales and tomatoes was brilliant. He's never laughed as much take that quote slightly out of context.
Very sad life.
He's never laughed as much as he has today.
Oh. Well, that's happy.
Well, that just proves it's the winning formula.
1 out of how many people?
Oh, for goodness sakes.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Very heavy on the M1 heading southbound between junction 12 for Flitwick and junction 9 for Redbourne. In Dunstable, seeing delays on Luton Road at the Boscombe Road Joe Rotary as the traffic lights aren't working at the moment there. Also on the M25 heading anti-clockwise, seeing delays between junction 20 Kings Langley and junction 12 the M3. Taking a look clockwise on the M25, very heavy at the moment between junction 24 for Potters Bar and 25 for Enfield. Taking a look so far at the A1M, that's looking slow between junction 9 for Letchworth and junction 7 for Stevenage. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Nicola, thank you. Again, apologies for anybody offended by the coarse language in that travel bulletin. I don't know what they teach these travel people these days. That's it, that's your lot. Ken, say goodbye. There we go, that's Ken. He's turning to Metal Mickey of all people. JVS is up next. We'll be back tomorrow at 6. We'll try and do a decent show for you tomorrow, but I cannot promise anything, OK?
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon-Smith. It's Tuesday. It's 9 o'clock. And on today's Big Phone-In, are you pleased with the results of the European election? Party leaders meet in Brussels this morning to discuss their response to the UK Independence Party's